Tuesday in Kansas City. But I want to start with last night because it certainly impacts this Sunday. They're going to play Sunday. The Lions are going to play in a couple of weeks. And a Ravens team now, much like the Chiefs, they're going to go into Sunday, and one of those teams is going to be 1-3 after a loss. That's wild to think about. None of us would have predicted that before the season. I don't think anybody, if you're being honest with yourself, anybody would have thought one of these teams heading into week 4 at that point in time will be 1-3.
No, that's the opposite of what I would have assumed the season would have gone. No, look, we didn't have any. Once we knew the Rashee Rice suspension was going down, we didn't have some delusions of grandeur here in Kansas City Gold thinking that the Chiefs were going to be 5-1 through 6 games with no Rashee Rice. And certainly after Worthy got hurt, 5-1 with no Xavier Worthy and no Rashee Rice. But I certainly didn't think they were staring down the barrel of 1-3 through 4 weeks. And I especially didn't think that both of those teams would be looking at the possibility of 1-3. This goes back to a little bit of what I said yesterday, which was I was kind of hoping the Ravens would win because I didn't want them staring that down or facing that reality the same way the Chiefs are. Because next Sunday at 3:25, you are probably going to look at a game that has the 2 hungriest teams in all of the NFL doing battle against each other. There are no 2 teams more desperate at the same time going up against each other than Chiefs and Ravens. I don't care if it's 2 0-3 teams. Those teams stink, and no, they stink. That's a very different circumstance. This was what was supposed to be the best roster in the NFL versus the 3-time in a row appearing Super Bowl team with back-to-back a couple of years ago at 1-3. Like, that's a completely different vibe. The other part that stood out about this game, as we talk about where this game is boy, I hope that they're in a place to take advantage of the Ravens' bad defense. Because the Ravens' defense is really why. If we're saying, why are these teams 1-2? For the Chiefs, it's because they can't score. And for the Ravens, it's because they can't stop anyone from scoring.
Yeah, this is a Ravens team that has given up more points than any other football team this year. The Ravens have given up 97. The Dolphins right there at 97. The Titans 94. The Bears 93. The Jets 93. There's a couple of those teams you expect to struggle, expect to be poor defenses. I get it. You'll point to they've played the Lions and the Bills, 2 of the better offenses in football, and there's some truth to that. However,
still getting a 40 a game in those games. You can't do that.
That's still at that level, obviously not something that's sustainable, and it's why you sit at the record you sit. I think as we'll later on in the week discuss the individual matchup kind of stuff between the Chiefs and the Ravens, from the early view of this game on Sunday, I still think the Chiefs are going to have to win in a lower scoring game. So while we talk about the Ravens defense being a problem, the good news probably for the Ravens as well is they're looking at the Chiefs offense and saying, well, we're not really all that concerned about them. And so is this going to be on Sunday a game where it's kind of similar to what we saw with the Giants? Not in terms of hopefully the first half, but is it a 24-21, a 21-17, a 21-20? Are we really going to see a 38-35 game? I just don't think the Chiefs offense is capable of that right now. I think the Chiefs defense is also much better than that to allow it to become a 38-35 type of game. So this is going to be truly like the cliche dogfight on Sunday between the Chiefs and the Ravens. What's weird though about the offense for the Chiefs, and as we're talking about the Ravens defense, despite all the issues of the Chiefs offense, and they look dreadful, and we all know the story about the offense. They're still 6th in points per drive this year in the NFL. And 7th
every drive is a slog and takes forever, but yes.
But they're still 6th in points per drive, and it's not like they're turning the ball over.
No, it is because this is how they were. By the way, this is exactly how they were last year. Mm-hmm. They were technically efficient in the amount they scored, as in how often they scored, but the same problem implies, which is every drive, and this might be, I'm not word for word of what I sent out on Sunday. Every drive is 47 plays for 19 yards and a field goal. So when you do that, every drive gets points, but it isn't easy. Look, the Chiefs defense is very good. This will be the toughest challenge they've had so far this year, offensively, because I do think that the way Derrick Henry, even though he has a real fumbling problem right now, and Lamar Jackson work and all this other stuff, it's going to be a real challenge, which is why I think their defense can keep them in the low 20s because of how good they've played. But the Chiefs' offense, more importantly, is going to have to find a way to take advantage of the Ravens, who are just letting anyone run all over them. I know that they had a good game against the Browns, who might be the worst offense in football, so kudos, I guess.
I will be interested to see if they get Matabuke back. They had some other injuries. Is that enough to solve it there for the Ravens? Because they were without a few players last night.
Will the Chiefs get Worthy back as another person who can take advantage of the Ravens defense?
My guess is both teams are going to have their guys back and ready for Sunday, given that these are teams that are 1-2. I just think we know what's at stake for both. I mean, the Ravens, the record is one thing, but also for the Ravens, if they lose, not only are they 1-3, they would have already lost games to the Chiefs and Bills. So the tiebreakers in terms of if they happen to be a division winner still and they need seeding, that's out the window completely for the Ravens. Obviously, if the Chiefs fall to 1-3, I think the division conversation is just about over.
They might, yeah. Honestly, if they lose the division, if they lose on Sunday and the Chargers win, the Chargers are winning the division, right? I mean, I don't know any other way to put it. They can only make up one of the 3 games they would be behind. And by the way, the Chargers don't have a tough game. They have the exact same game the Chiefs just played. They have the Giants on the road. Mm-hmm. And we saw what that Giants team looks like. Maybe it's a slight challenge if they actually pull the trigger and Jackson Dart gets in the game. He did leave that open yesterday, Dable. He said we're exploring all options.
That told me that he's probably going to start.
Most likely. I wouldn't rule that out, certainly on that end. But you had pointed out something before the show, which is so interesting about these teams is the national perception on these two teams is dramatically different on the Chiefs and the Ravens.
Absolutely.
People are talking about the Chiefs like they are just shoveling dirt on their face, and this is a dead team not worthy of discussion. And the Ravens are being discussed like shucksy. Look how good that offense is. I can't believe they're 1-2. Warren Sharp had put out the stat, right? For instance, Warren Sharp had said the Ravens have scored 100 and I think it's 3 points in their first 104 points in the first 3 games. The only team since 2000 to have scored 100+ points through 3 weeks and have a losing record ever. But the other 25 teams with 100+ through 3 weeks are 68-7. They win 91% of their games. So it's like, if it just this offense, they're going to win. Versus they both have one massive problem.
Correct. I think, but that's how, as sports fans and in the NFL in particular, it goes back to everybody likes points, everybody likes scoring and all that. And so if you have one team that's struggling on the offensive side of the ball, it seems far worse. It just does.
It does feel worse.
It does because the NFL is a passing league. It's a high scoring league. We all love fantasy football and everybody bets overs and all that because points are fun. It's what we all want to see. So when your team struggles to score the football and move the ball, that is going to make it seem far worse than if your team is good at defense. It's just I think it's just the nature of how we consume the product. So I think that's what's going into some of this, where the Ravens' defense has been abysmal. Offensively, they're still fun. Lamar looks great still. Derrick Henry's got a fumbling problem all of a sudden, but otherwise he's been good. I don't know what's up with him. He keeps fumbling the football in crucial moments. That's twice now, but I think 3 fumbles already on the season. I think that's the reason why we have people talking about the Ravens like, okay, they're 1-2, but nobody's really worried about them. The Chiefs are 1-2, and everybody is saying the world is ending for them. Some of it is also the Super Bowl performance, no doubt, the carryover from last year. We all saw what happened there, and that's what people are basing on. But I do think it's interesting how everybody is talking about the Chiefs compared to the Ravens. And heck, I've seen it even from Chiefs fans, and you guys tell me on the text line. I think Chiefs fans watched the Ravens last night and are very, very concerned. And I'm not saying that like guaranteeing any victory or something on Sunday. I think it's going to be a very, very close game, and the Chiefs are going to have to play much better to win it. But I also think if I was in Baltimore doing radio there, I would say, well, the Ravens got to play a hell of a lot better too. Whereas nationally, I feel like people are just saying, oh, well, the Ravens will score a bunch and the Chiefs won't, and it's just going to be over. Yeah. And I just don't think that's how this game is going on Sunday.
You would rather have a team like the Chiefs that has a better defense in my mind because I think based on what
you're probably basing it off of your Bengals experience last year.
And based on I would feel better going into this game if I was a Chiefs fan. I think just because of the Ravens nearly allowing 41 and then 38 points to solid offenses. Where if you get Xavier Worthy back, that secondary has been a mess since last season has been. So if you can get one of your horses back, why can't you score 27 points against this defense? And is 27 enough to win with your defense and how it's playing? Probably. So if I was a Chiefs fan, I would feel great, or I'd feel better going into this game based on what I've seen from the Ravens defense, because Spags is going to have a plan, and you know that everything defensively, I don't think the Ravens are going to score more than 27 points against the Chiefs. I don't think that's going to happen.
So the weird thing will be, and I agree with you, Spags has always had pretty good plans against Lamar. Last night, though, and I don't know if this goes back to Cody's theory yesterday, where he was like, you said you didn't want the Ravens to lose because you were worried like they would.
I didn't want them to be this desperate.
Okay, and then last night, not necessarily the result of the game, but the way it played out. My question would be, what adjustment do the Ravens make? Lamar was sacked 7 times by the Lions. Now, they have Aiden Hutchinson, obviously, who's a stud, and he looks healthy and great. But we don't see Lamar get sacked that often. I think that was the second time in his career. Somebody put out the stat last night. Second time in his career gets sacked 6 or more times. He got sacked 7 times. I think it ties a career high. Spags will have all these blitzes, but the Chiefs aren't sacking him 6 or 7 times in this game on Sunday. My point is that did the Lions already expose something that they're going to clean up, or did the Lions expose something that, the Chiefs are also going to be able to expose as well?
Look, I thought the Chargers they won, but that was their biggest issue in week 3 too. They finally felt you finally noticed that they were missing their left tackle against Denver. They were all over Justin Herbert. Hell, that throw he made to win the game against Denver, that was the best throw of the entire NFL season.
It was great.
From any quarterback on any team, that was legitimately the best throw any quarterback has made all year. And so, it still took a superhuman effort. But you and I know that you can't make throws like that or plays like that forever. And so, I think Lamar ran into, and look, they might very well be. The text line said they're starting to look like the 2024 Bengals. The truth is, if they lose to the Chiefs this week and it's 30-27 and somehow they let the Chiefs get to 30, despite the fact they scored 30, all but twice maybe last year, and certainly haven't been risking that at any point this season, then they are going to feel like last year's. They are going to feel like last year's Bengals team where you're like, how are we 1-4 with all of these weapons and all of these points? Because Zay Flowers has had a great time. They're going to run into a thing. This is nationally, a lot of people are going to choose the Ravens simply for the reason you mentioned. They're going to do it because that offense looks legit. And they're going to say this team can score and Derrick Henry won't fumble in the fourth quarter this time. Because the truth is the Ravens could be 3-0.
That's crazy
if they weren't giving the ball away in the fourth quarter.
He's fumbled in every single game so far.
And in the fourth quarter. He's giving it away at the worst conceivable time, right?
Nuts. Because and I don't know if that's just because we've come to know Derrick Henry as just this
reliable.
Reliable guy that is going to consistently give you 100 yards a game, always is going to score touchdowns, where he's kind of lost, the Bills game. That's a loss on Derrick Henry single-handedly. The one last night, I don't think you can say it, but the Bills game, they lost because he fumbled the football.
Yeah, it's weird how I think you, as fans, we all try to look at his situation. I mentioned the sack thing, but now Derrick Henry has had a fumbling problem. On one hand, you say, oh, wow, now he's going to fumble against Kansas City. They're going to take advantage of it. On the other hand, you're like, damn it, he's
historically he does not fumble the ball.
He's actually going to.
He's now going to. There's no way he's fumbling on Sunday now.
We're running this the whole time.
That's the problem, though. It depends on how you want to talk
Spin
yourself.
It in your head.
Yeah, but I get the reasoning on some of that kind of stuff. We all do it.
Very brief, and I know that we're not going to spend a ton of time with them. They're not this opponent. Don't love having to face the Lions in a couple weeks.
I'll worry about that then. Their offense is back. They got
all that locked
week
in.
1, clearly the Packers' defense was just very, very good. They're good. The Lions are perfectly fine. I think any worries about their offense are done now.
And that's all the more reason for the Chiefs to get this one.
Yeah, then get the Jags, and then you either win and you're 4-2 and everything is solved, or because if you win this one and you're 2-2, you're okay. You beat the Jags, the team we expect. Then you get to go into that Lions game and be like, well, 3-3 through 6. Here comes Rashee Rice. I'll take my losses and just move on with my life. Or you somehow shock the world and get wins against both of those teams. You're 4-2, and now everyone's going to talk about you having a chance to be the best team in the AFC again. And so, you can shift your narrative a lot over the next couple of weeks.
Well, Sunday's game is a narrative shifter. There's no doubt. I mean,
yes.
no question for both organizations. It's a narrative shifter, and potentially will set up how the rest of the year is going. That's how big of a game I think Sunday is. I know you'll say, there's still going to be months and months of football, but Sunday's game to me truly could take you down a different path for how the season's going to play out for each of these franchises. We'll have all week to talk about it. We'll talk about it with Nate Taylor a little bit later on in the show. One other thing, though, through the first 3 weeks that has been different for this offense, even different than last year. We've talked about the struggles and how similar it is. There's one thing that is different than even a year ago for Patrick Mahomes in this offense, and it depends on how you want to look at it. On one hand, you say this is an O-line problem. On the other hand, you say this is proof that Mahomes, once again, is adapting and adjusting. And I'm talking about right now Mahomes is throwing the ball quicker than he ever has. He has the fastest average time to throw in the NFL this year. And they're, as I said, still somehow 6th in points per drive, 7th in EPA per play, with all the struggles, with no run game, all of that. So on one hand, you say, wow, that Mahomes is ridiculous. The fact that he's doing this now And that's not something he's ever done in his career. On the other hand, you say, well, this once again shows that receivers are not getting open down the field. They're having to do a bunch of quick passes, or he's scrambling. A lot of this, I think, is skewed by what happened the first 2 weeks and when he was running the football. And so that's what, because of that, it led him to run the ball more. Because he was running, it led him to, when he, get happy feet, if you will, as well. So there's different ways you can look at it. Do you think this is a stat that has to change, or is this something that's sustainable? Because I don't think it's sustainable.
Has to change. I'm 100% with you. It can be fine for the next 3 weeks. If this is how you want to live your life until Rashee Rice is back, fine. But if part of the reason we know, really twofold for why teams typically throw the ball fast, or three, but one of them absolutely does not apply to the Chiefs. The third one is you have elite level speed and you like getting in their hands so they can make tackles, miss tackles. Well, that's not it. So we can just move past. That's why he's throwing the ball so fast. They're not running some run and gun offense and trying to just get their guys in space. Their guys are slow. So not that. The other two options are bad offensive line or bad weapons. Honestly, it's probably a little bit of both. Yeah. The offensive line has not played well enough, and the weapons certainly have not been good enough. But if the offensive line is part of the issue, well, I already told you, you have an option to start improving that right away. His name is Jalen Moore. He can start over Jawan Taylor tomorrow. So, we can already start improving that area of the field immediately. Plus, I think Simmons, Smith, and Creed will all play better with time. And honestly, I've not been that disappointed in Kingsley. Has he been a perfect player?
He's coming off his best game as a pro, in my opinion. I believe that. I really believe that this past game was his best game as a pro. Doesn't mean that he didn't get beat. Doesn't mean he didn't make mistakes. But I think we actually saw his best game as an NFL player.
I agree. And so, if we're going to show improvement, and there's one guy, so we can improve that. And the wide receivers should naturally improve. So there should be some space for it. Once everyone's back, no more, you're the fastest team in the NFL to throw the football. Patrick Mahomes needs time and space to create. He is at his best, Gold, when he creates and makes something out of nothing. If he throws it this fast, there's no creation. You've taken that element of his game away in a lot of ways.
This will be one I want to revisit in 3 or 4 weeks. Is that still the case? Is it? And if it is, what is it? Is it looking any different, or is it the same issues? Because you would think when Rice and Worthy are on the field that the time to throw will settle in a little bit, not just because the offensive line might also as well, but because you're going to have some guys getting open a little bit quicker. You're going to think they're going to get open quicker. I know you're saying, well, that'll lead to a faster throw, but not necessarily. You might be able to trust the fact that some deeper routes are going to develop.
Yeah, and I just some of this is just offensive line play. And I'll give them credit. I've asked a question this year, which was, I think the offense looks too similar to last year's offense. And you had said, that's probably because they're in a similar spot. And I was like, but they had all last year to try to work out something creative to make this work. And maybe there is no pill, right? There is no solution. There's no way to work up the offense that allows these weapons to work until they have everybody at play. This, at least, is an adjustment. Andy Reid made an adjustment. Patrick Mahomes has made an adjustment. He said, if we don't have the time right now and we can't run a normal offense until we get these guys back, we are going to have you drop back 3 steps and you're going to get rid of the ball fast. It's also why they had to fail a 4th down in the second game where they completed 3 passes for all of 9 yards and still didn't get the 4th, right? That leads to problems, and it leads to what you're saying in the points per drive thing from the previous conversation, which is it makes mistakes be amplified. Jawan Taylor's mistakes are amplified, Gold, if every play you get is for 3 yards. Every pass you throw is for 4 yards. It amplifies the problems, doesn't it?
Well, no, it has.
Yeah, because you get to they do what they did the last 2 years, Cody, where they get to 3rd and 3, and they're content with getting to 3rd and 3 because they've always been able to convert those, and then you have a holding penalty or a false start, and then it's all of a sudden 3rd and 8, and you don't have the time or the scheme or the wide receivers to be able to trust that they can have the depth of target deep enough to get a first down.
It's a problem. We'll see whether or not they can adjust on it, but I don't think that if that's the stat by the end of the year, this offense never got fixed.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I would agree with that. Coming up in 10 minutes, we'll talk to the general manager of the Kansas City Royals about the final week here of the baseball season. They are out west. Late baseball games tonight here on 96.5 The Fan, or the rest of the week, I should say, as they're taking on the Angels and the Athletics throughout the week. 8:38 first pitch tonight there on the West Coast for the Royals and the Angels. One other thing as we're talking about the offense, this is one of those numbers that I don't really think matters that much because yardage is not what you should be basing your offense on. Like nobody says, oh, they had the most yards in football. You go off of points per game. But if you were wondering, you're watching these offenses across the entire league. Steve Palazzolo had put out the numbers, but offenses are averaging 317.9 yards a game. That's actually the lowest since 2005, the third lowest total this century. So those are pretty staggering numbers.
So everyone's offense stinks is what you're telling me.
Yardage-wise. And you're like, well, doesn't yards mean points? There's some correlation, but in general, there's kickoffs. There's been some block. The kickoffs has contributed to this. I mean, last night we saw twice towards the end of the game in the Lions-Ravens game, kicks out of bounds. One was short of the landing zone, and so the drive started at the 40. Well, obviously there's 80 yards of offense that you eliminated for both teams, between the two teams or whatever in last night's game. So I do think kickoffs are playing a role. I also think this past weekend played a role. If you're going to have, some of these possessions switch the way they did due to some of the blocked field goals and things like that, that alters it. I just don't really care about the yardage numbers. It's always a points per game thing. Defensively, I don't care how many yards you give up. I definitely think offensive yards matter more than defensive yards given up if you're ranking. But at the end of the year, I don't think we're going to say, man, the Chiefs were the 14th best offense in yards per game, but offensively they scored whatever and they were 9th. Nobody's going to say they were the 14th best offense. You're going to say they were the 9th best offense.
For what it's worth, I think there's just a clear class separation in offenses in the NFL right now. Baltimore, Indianapolis, Detroit, and Buffalo are all scoring in bunches, scoring a lot, having no issue putting points on the board. The other offenses that you would think are 5 through 10, none of those you've been overwhelmed with. Seattle, Minnesota, Washington, Philly, Chicago, Dallas. Like, I'm not saying they haven't done things good on offense, but I'm certainly not blown away in a way where I'm like, wow, look at them go.
Well, they probably got a bulk of that this past Sunday. The Seattle Seahawks did when they dropped 44 points.
I would love to. We can look this up. I'd love to know.
Washington got a bulk on Cincinnati this week, getting 48.
I would love to know what the average starting heading into this week. It was the average starting position was 29.5 yard line. I would love to know where it's at after 3 weeks, because I do think this is largely because of the kickoff.
You said that was through 2 weeks?
Through 2 weeks. So did that go up this week? I'd have to go back, and there was definitely some kickoff return for touchdowns this week, but I don't know.
I wonder if it would go down just because of the blocked field goals, like you were saying, because there were so many of those in short fields and turnovers as well. Somebody mentions going for it on fourth down way more. I think it does seem like more teams are going for it. Even if you get to the 50,
they're saying setting up shorter fields because you miss a fourth down as well, and then the other team takes over at your own 40.
I mean, it is way. The kick returns are way up.
That's the biggest contributing
factor. But the starting
factor.
Field position from last year, it's the same. 29.6 last year, 29.5 this year. So it's not like there's no difference. Now, from 2023, when it was 25.1, they've added 5 yards. And I told you this before. The difference between starting at the 25 or the 30 is a difference of 3 points per game in the NFL. So they've increased scoring, just on average. That's how it's going to go.
Up next, let's talk a little Royals baseball with the general manager and executive vice president of baseball ops, J.J. Picollo. We'll ask him about the club trying to go back-to-back winning seasons for the first time since 2014 and 2015, and looking ahead to the future a little bit. A couple decisions to make this offseason.
This is Cody and Gold on your new home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, where we've successfully treated thousands of men for low testosterone and helped them feel like their old selves again. Please take a moment and listen to how we help this patient.
Hi, this is Doug. I'm a patient with Heartland Men's Health. I've been doing low T treatment for just under a year now. I've always dedicated my life to work. I've always found the time to go to gym. I'm 46 years old. My energy level has been on a roller coaster. With work, when we would have like long, stressful meetings, I would notice that I was very exhausted and drained afterwards. And with the low T treatment, I'm not as stressed. I started to feel a lot more level-headed. The roller coaster kind of went away. I think Heartland Men's Health, they really have it figured out. The professional staff, I think it's a wonderful treatment for men of any age. And it's definitely a benefit I'm going to continue.
Thank you. It's true. Your initial appointment includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on testosterone the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Fall's the best time of year to clean up the outside of your home or business. And the best way to do that is with a fresh coat of paint from my friends at CertaPro Painters. You want your home or business to make a great impression, and that starts with the exterior. And when you choose CertaPro Painters, you're choosing the best in the business for your job. CertaPro Painters go the extra mile. If there's a way to save you money, they'll let you know. And they take care of every detail from start to cleanup. So do what we did and schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
This is Creed Humphrey. Kansas City has the best fans in the world and the best bull riding team in the PBR. The Outlaws are looking to win it all this year, but they can't do it without you. I'm the chief of Outlaw Attitude, and I need you to pack the house. So buckle up and make some noise. The Outlaws are coming, and we know KC will be there with us. Come see Kansas City's next dynasty and join me at PBR Team Outlaw Days, October 3rd through 5th.
Race weekend returns to Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway with over $60,000 in prize giveaways. Friday night, stay cool with the Pin Play app and pick up a 12-pack of Coca-Cola while supplies last. Saturday is the day of winners with a winner every 15 minutes. And on Sunday, win up to $2,500 in Penn bonus play with the Hollywood Casino 400 even or odd drawing. Find your fun at Hollywood Casino. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Arvest Bank believes in the power of serving others. That's why we're committed to supporting those who serve our communities. We believe that all communities deserve a financial partner who cares. Arvest. We believe.
You could be on the 50 at GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Enter to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. GEHA is the proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs.
It's time. Time for the pro to get everything for the entire job, all from one partner. To get access to over 3 million products, including many products you won't find in our stores. It's time to get delivery on your schedule or next day on over 50,000 products. And time to get dedicated support on the job site or in our stores. From ordering to planning, we've got you. One partner, any job, all in. Ask about all we can now do at the Pro Desk. The Home Depot Pro, it's about time.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2025 Nielsen report.
At Napa, we've spent the last 100 years building our business into an engine that powers yours. Whether you're big or small, national or local, Napa has the automotive solutions your business needs to stay moving. And it's all driven by a nationwide network of quality parts and exceptional service on one mission: to keep your business moving full speed ahead. That's why we are the pros that know.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Renner Garage Door has proudly served our community for decades. The best styles, technology, and family values. That's Renner. Get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back.
RENNER, RENNER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Coming up in about a half hour, we'll talk to former NFL wide receiver, a four-time All-Pro, Steve Smith, get his perspective on this Chiefs offense right now. Also, Xavier Worthy, what he could bring to the offense again if he gets back with this team on Sunday when the Ravens come to town. So we'll get a good perspective on the start of the NFL season with Steve Smith coming up in just a little bit. But let's talk some Royals baseball with the general manager and executive vice president of baseball operations, JJ Picollo. He joins us every couple weeks here on Cody and Gold. Good morning. I know it's early out west for you guys on this road trip. I know the ultimate goal was to win the division, get to the postseason, but trying to have back-to-back winning seasons for the first time since 2014, 2015, what would that mean for you guys as an organization as well?
It would be huge for us. I mean, that's one of our goals is sustainability, and part of being sustainable and a good team is having winning records year after year. So we're looking at these 6 games like they're big games for us. And of course, we're not completely eliminated just yet. You know, we got to win 6 in a row, and a couple teams got to lose 6 in a row.
Yeah.
So it's a tall order, but all we can control is what we do here on out. So these next 6 games are very important to us.
Have you been happy
to establish some history?
I was about to say, have you been happy to see some of the fight? Because it was easy enough. You go through the losing streak. It seems like it kind of plays you out of the playoffs. You know, you can sense that, but they fought back to 500 and to stay above 500 or around there. Do you like seeing that out of a team, even knowing that the playoffs were a long shot?
Without a doubt. We had a couple games last week, and I thought we could have easily shut it down and not competed. But, one game we're up 3-0 against Seattle, and we end up winning the game late. That was a good game. Even the game we lost on Sunday, I thought we competed really well. We didn't score more runs than the other team, but that was a good baseball game, and that's what we want to do. That's what we want to establish as an organization. But, yeah, we're proud of the way they're competing, and we expect them to go out these next 6 games and do the very same thing.
Just briefly speaking of other playoff teams, because you're the general manager of another team, I'm guessing you're not allowed to text Freddie for me and congrats on helping send the Padres to the playoffs. Did you get a chance to see that moment last night?
I did see. I was watching the game when it happened. Couldn't be happier for Freddie. He's a Royal through and through. I know he's in a different uniform right now, but happy for Freddie. He's going to get a chance to experience the playoffs for a 2nd year in a row, and wish him nothing but the best.
We're talking to JJ Picollo here on 96.5 The Fan. Last week, Cole Reagan's return to the rotation. He'll also start tonight. What did you make of that first start back? And are there any sort of limitations still, tonight in terms of workload for him?
We'll still be careful with him. He's probably going to throw a few more pitches tonight than he did the other night. But, you can't help but to think, especially that first inning, like what could have been had Cole been healthy all year. That's a natural thought. But it was a good sign of what our pitching staff is like and what it could be. And, Cole, with the year he had last year, what he was doing this year until the injury, it was a big part of who we are, and going back to one of your first questions there about how we've competed extremely well without, one of our top starters and one of the top pitchers in baseball. So seeing him out there last week was a great moment for him. Mentally, the perseverance players go through when they're injured is difficult. So I know it was a big relief for Cole to get out there and throw the ball the way he did and dominate, really, that first inning, as well as you possibly could. I think it was 9 swings and misses in an inning. You don't see that. So that's how good Cole really is.
When it comes to, I want to ask you about Cags, too, obviously, as he's had his second run here as a big leaguer post the injury. Carter Jensen, obviously everything he was doing in the minors, he's doing now in the bigs. He's hitting for average. He's showing some power. His on-base percentage has been excellent. Is he the kind of guy, just for looking into the future, you've tinkered with him at the top of the order. Because of his on-base percentage, is he going to be tempting to be a top of the order guy for you next year?
Well, I think we got to let that play out. And the circumstance the other day was, Isbell's hurt. Yaz had played a bunch of games in a row, and we're looking at, we wanted a left-handed hitter at the top of the lineup. Carter's not hit leadoff in the minor leagues, but for where we are in the season, trying to get him some at-bats, it's like, hey, why not? He's taking great at-bats. The quality that Carter has, or the talent that he has and the skill that he has is pitch recognition. He makes good swing decisions. He's going to walk. I think one of aside from the hits, the best thing we're seeing right now is he's not changing his approach in the major leagues. He's making pitchers work to get him out. It's a very good sign of a quality hitter. And Carter obviously has the power too. You don't see a guy go foul pole to foul pole and hit 2 homers in a game all that often. It's Kauffman Stadium. And then you look at the game where he hits 3 doubles all through the left center field gap with another ball against the wall. Like that is the sign of a really good approach and somebody that's going to be a quality major league hitter.
These things are obviously related. How close are you guys to picking up the option for Salvador Perez? And is that a conversation you've already had with him this offseason, knowing that $13.5 million is on your side?
Well, I think it's safe to say that Salvi's going to be back in a Kansas City Royals uniform. We haven't had discussions about when we'll pick up the option or what we're going to do. There are things that we're going to, through this week, have discussions with Salvi. His desires, obviously, is to be here and be a Royal the rest of his career. But there are things we'll figure out through the offseason. But I think it's safe to say that Salvi is going to be in Kansas City next year.
Obviously, you do have the offseason to figure some things out. Do you right now, when you look at how maybe you approach even just the catcher position, knowing we already talked about Freddie no longer being part of the organization, now seeing how Carter Jensen is being used, we know Salvi wants to be behind the dish. How much does that also go into some of the thought process as you look ahead to the offseason?
Well, there's ongoing conversations with Salvi. I mean, it's happened the last several years about his workload and how much he can catch. Now, when we traded Freddie, we had to up his workload. That wasn't part of the plan. He caught far more games after we traded Freddie than prior to trading Freddie. But now that we have Carter and he's gotten some experience behind the plate in the major leagues, probably looking at a very similar situation as we had with Freddie, and now we'll just substitute Carter for him.
Would your thought be going into the offseason that Jack Caglione would be, our plan is starting right field 2025? That's where you're trying to pencil him in?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Is your plan to make sure that, to spend the offseason making sure that Jack Caglione is your starting right fielder?
Well, we'll do everything we can. I mean, players got to go out and earn those opportunities, but we expect that Jack's going to be a big part of what we do in 2026. You think about what he's done this year to come from, AA to AAA to the big leagues, and he had the injury. That's an awful lot. And then throw in a position change for him. Just proud of the way he's continued to compete. We know that the season didn't go exactly the way we wanted it to go in the major leagues, but he's a young major league player, and we're going to be patient with him. He's going to have to earn a spot on the team opening day next year. But we know that he's a talented guy, and he's going to figure this thing out. It's just a matter of when.
Last two players I'm going to ask about, because you guys have obviously made a lot of trades for pitchers, so you'll have a lot of decisions and maneuvering there. But every offseason, I got to ask, what's the likelihood that you guys will try to work on extensions for guys like Michael Garcia and Vinny Pasquantino this year?
Yeah, there are things to be determined as well. I mean, it's always an ongoing process for us. What's best for the organization? How do we manage our payroll? Who are the guys that we know we need that are everyday players? The two you just mentioned are obviously very valuable. I think, probably 65 to 70% of our offense came from those two, and Bobby and Salvi. They were the key contributors, so they're important to us and what our success is going to look like next year. But they are under contract, so there's things that we need to work through. We know they'll be in our uniform. It's just a matter of whether or not we choose to work an extension or if they even want an extension. So you got to work through those things in the coming months.
JJ Picollo, Royals General Manager, Executive Vice President of Baseball Ops. We appreciate you coming on throughout the season. I'm sure we'll have you on at some point in the offseason as well.
Sounds good, guys. Thank you.
Absolutely. There you go. JJ Picollo with us here on 96.5 The Fan. There is a ton of things that I think we all want to get answers to during the offseason as well. The most notable, and I don't think we're surprised to hear it, as far as Salvador Perez and his future in Kansas City. He will be back on this team next year. I think we assumed that, but obviously it's nice to hear directly from the general manager of the Kansas City Royals. And then also, just moving into 2025, he mentioned that the Freddie Fermin trade, of course, changed some things a little bit, but kind of envision Carter Jensen playing as much as Freddie did last year in support of Salvador Perez, kind of how Freddie did this year, but that'll be Carter Jensen in 2026.
I mean, good, because I am curious, because Carter Jensen, the way he's hitting right now, that's an everyday player. And you can't fumble around like you have before. Like, you can't just put him at DH. You can't just put him at first base. You can't just teach him right field. You're already doing that. Vinny already needs time at first base. They need those extra DH spots for the days that Salvi or whatever, right? The maneuverability of player out of position is in, let's teach Carter first base, which they wouldn't normally do for him, or let's just have him DH more often. It's more limited based on the current roster construction they have. And that doesn't include if they tried to go get an offseason bat who might also need. This is part of the problem. they're limited in the offseason back camp. As much as I would love Kyle Schwarber to be the guy that they signed.
There's not a ton of free agent options either.
The
Cody.
room on him, and I'd find a way to make the room if I were the Royals, but like the room doesn't really fit. The pieces don't fit in order in a logical sense. And for Carter Jensen to get the number of at-bats we think he should get. That creates a whole nother thing. I did look it up, by the way. Cags, since being recalled from the injury, 216 batting average, 344 on base, 736 OPS, 2 homers, 8 RBI, and 9 walks. He has certainly been better than before the injury, but he's still like, there's room for improvement if that
Yeah, and
makes
a
sense.
lot of it will be determined too in terms of, during spring training, of course, but also what are they able to accomplish, if anything, in potential trade market in the outfield? And how does that shift their thinking with some of these younger players as well? And does one trade lead them down a different path for another move? It sets up another, some of it, you may go in and this is your plan to go do this, but it just doesn't happen, right? And then all of a sudden you've got to pivot, right? That played out last year. We saw that, and unfortunately we saw the result of that. And the mess in the left field and right field for 99% of this season, really. So, it'll be an interesting offseason for them. But for the most part, I think we all agree the roster is going to be very, very similar. Very similar. As far as extensions, you asked him about, Vinny and Michael in particular. That'll be fascinating to me because you and I have gone back and forth on this for the last probably year and a half, whether it's Vinny, whether it's Michael. Obviously, Michael's coming off a career year.
Yep.
Vinny made it through a full, healthy season. Huge for him and your confidence and faith moving forward if you were to go down the contract extension route. But as I told you, and it's just the reality of baseball, they don't have to do anything this offseason with either. They could just roll the arbitration game out there. I mean, they've got multiple years. Obviously, and each player has their own priorities, but sure, you want the long-term security in terms of a nice contract if you're Vinny or Michael or whatever. But also, if you're the Royals, you got 3 or 4 more years of control.
I know, and you don't have to make those moves. And that's where the end of that sentence is probably the most important. They also have to want an extension. As in, they want to have to give up a year or two of free agency in order to lock up a certain amount of financial security for themselves moving forward. Look, every team...
Go ahead, sorry.
No, I was going to say, there's 15 teams in the Major League Baseball who have a hitter like Vinny Pasquantino, but every contender needs a hitter like Vinny Pasquantino. And so, 30 home runs, 100 RBI, you need a guy like that in your lineup.
And each player's different, of course, not only just their own circumstance in life and everything, but also their age here. We're talking about Vinny, who's 27 already, and Michael, who's 25. I don't know when they turn 26 or 28, but Vinny's 27. Michael, as of right the second, is 25. So it's also a different circumstance for each one of them in that regard. It's one thing if you're a player and you know that you'll be under 30 when you have an opportunity versus you'll be 30 or 31 when you have an opportunity. So who knows? I wouldn't be surprised if one of them possibly has something worked on this offseason in terms of a contract, but I totally like I told you, I kind of, if there's part of me that would say I would just continue to roll it out there if I was the organization and you don't need to give out an extension.
Look, this is where baseball gets you. Vinny won't even really get much of an arbitration raise.
No, I think he'll get a nice little bump though.
No, but there's still a limit. They cap the amount per year that you can get in an arbitration age. They still can control Michael Garcia for 4 full seasons after this. And I think the same with Vinny. And so it's they don't have to do anything. For the Royals, it's just, do you think these players are going to be good 5 years from now? Difficult question to ask. But do you think they're going to be 5 years from now? I think that's a safe question at this point for me, that I think both of these guys will still be on Major League rosters, deserving to be on Major League rosters 5 years from now. And it's, are they willing to give up some of those years? They only got 3 years left of any after this. So 3 years of arbitration, they got to negotiate every year. Rather than fight it and give them the raise that way, pay them out, buy up years 31, 32, 33. If you do a 6-year deal that includes the 3 years of arbitration, 5-year deal, you get a huge chunk of this man's career. And when he's expected to be a major hitter, then you can make a decision at 32.
Look, it's not, as we always say with Vern's, it's not my money, so whatever, right?
No, I know.
So sure, fine. It's not my money that I'm risking when he's 32 or 33 years old that I'm paying a 33-year-old.
That's still on the younger end. That's not when they pay a free agent a 10-year deal at 30.
I think the fact that he made it through healthy is huge. Made it through healthy is huge in this whole entire scenario. It's when you're buying out arbitration on a superstar like Bobby Wood Jr., okay, I totally get the cost reason why you would want to get it done, because it's already a deal that now looks great because of what Bobby has done, meaning it would cost you way more to wait. Is it going to cost you way more, though, if you wait on Vinny or Michael? And I'm not so sure it really is.
No.
And that's
honestly,
the difference,
they saved
you
a
know?
ton of money on Bobby Wood Jr.
Yeah, of course.
They might have saved $150 million, $200 million. I mean, like, that's not, based on what they paid Bobby when they paid him, that's not out of the question. I will say I was pleasantly surprised when looking that up that Jack Caglione's numbers were at least that decent. I didn't feel like he had taken some big leap forward. He clearly is walking way more. The thing for Jack Caglione is it's cool to get on base way more. 344, that's a great on-base percentage. You're here for a very important task, and that's put the ball over the fence. I want to see, like, that's been maybe the most concerning thing out of all this stuff for him so far. The swing and the miss, all that stuff. No, put the ball over the fence. You're Jack Caglione. Hit homers.
You can't count on much, but you can always count on Sundays with the NFL on CBS and Paramount Plus. Watch your local NFL game all season long, kicking off with this Week 4 matchup between the Ravens and the Chiefs. Visit ParamountPlus.com/NFL to get started today. And we will talk some more NFL here in about 12 minutes with former NFL wide receiver Steve Smith. He's got a new podcast out, show over on YouTube. Want to get his perspective on the Chiefs and obviously the wide receivers and the emergence of Tyquan Thornton. Let's talk a little college football. We mentioned yesterday briefly, of course, we were focused heavily on the Chiefs a day after a game, but Missouri got a massive win against South Carolina to firmly put them on a path, at least, to getting a CFP berth. Kansas, of course, took care of business against West Virginia. I want to start with Missouri, though, because we all acknowledged last week that, all right, you go out and you beat South Carolina, we can start having a real conversation. What would it look like? What's the path? What's needed to get a college football playoff berth? You don't have to win the SEC, although if you were wondering, they're 22-1 to do that. Missouri's 3-1 right now on FanDuel to make the college football playoff. It's a real opportunity here. They still have a couple more home games before they go out on the road. Can they go 3-1? I don't know if you guys agree. Can they go 3-1 in the stretch of games coming up, or at least against some of these opponents?
UMass, that should be a win. Then they have Alabama and
That's
Auburn
the
and Vanderbilt.
There you go.
If they go 3-1, then they're...
If they go 3-1, they're making the college football playoff.
Yeah.
No, it is that simple. It is that. Look, they're going to handle UMass this weekend. Okay, we don't have to worry about that.
So can they go 2-1 against Alabama, Auburn, and Vanderbilt? That's what you're asking?
No, I think it's 3-1. So to me, it's
A&M
3-1, including Alabama, Auburn, Vandy, A&M.
If they go 3-1, then they're in. If they go 3-1 in that stretch, then
it doesn't mean there's no.
Then they can lose to Oklahoma, and it doesn't hurt them.
It doesn't mean there's zero path if they were to not go 3-1. But if you're saying how do I feel pretty good and there's not much of a question out there and much of a debate, you go 3-1. I don't think we're really having much of a question about their path.
The way that because I think there's a firm line in the sand of 9-3 does not get you in if you don't win your conference title game, because last year South Carolina and Ole Miss barely missed out. They were 9-3. So I think if you go 10-2 and you're in the SEC, you are in.
The only thing that helps you in the 9-3 camp this year is Clemson's awful, and Notre Dame got off to a rough start, which means some of those teams that might normally take some of those extra SEC spots, Drew might not. Might not.
Well, the problem though is, let's say Clemson wins out and they're 9-3 and they play Miami in the ACC
Clemson
title
has no
game.
business.
Now, hang on. If they go 9-3, if they win out and they go 9-3 and then they beat Miami, who's, let's say, undefeated, but then they lose in the conference title game, Miami steals one of those spots that Missouri would have. So if you're a 10-2 Missouri that doesn't make it to the conference title game, then you want it to basically be chalk. You want it to be chalk.
Right.
In the conference titles, otherwise we talk about berths being stolen and all the other stuff for at-larges.
Can you imagine the conversation somehow if Missouri was 9-3, okay? And then Notre Dame, the scenario that you brought up happens, Cody.
10-2.
They went out.
And they win. They're 10-2. That's the debate all of a sudden.
Yes.
And they beat no one. They beat absolutely no one.
The irony, though, in that would be, didn't the SEC this past offseason spend all we got to weigh strength of schedule way more and all this, and it's going to come back to bite them in the ass if that scenario happened, because it'll actually benefit Notre Dame in that scenario, not an SEC school, even though Missouri's schedule is tougher than people give it credit for.
I think what would happen in that argument if Notre Dame actually made it in was if A&M is in the SEC title game and Miami wins the ACC, even though Notre Dame would have lost those two games, it would be really hard to not include them because the two losses were by a combined 4 points to two teams that are inside.
I know. But it's always the same thing.
It's the way that college sports go, though, because there's no there's no lock form. This is who's in. This is who's out. This is how you get in. This is how you don't, sort of thing. It's just the way that college sports kind of go. And is it unfair sometimes? It's been unfair for the entirety of their existence, essentially. There seems to share national titles in college football still.
I genuinely think, and this will help Missouri too. I think that Kansas one's going to look better and better. Kansas. True.
Missouri should want Kansas to keep winning.
That's
Kansas
right.
is Kansas is not just winning. Kansas is absolutely taking it to everybody on their schedule besides Missouri. Missouri, a top 15 talented team, they went toe-to-toe with for 3 full quarters. On the road toe-to-toe with. So, they put up their own fight. I fully expect Kansas to kick Cincinnati and UCF's ass.
They should win those games.
The big one is obviously late in the year Iowa State, and then coming up in the middle of October, Texas Tech. But no, Cincinnati, UCF, those should be games you absolutely win if you're Kansas. And then a huge test on the road against Tech, who, I mean, they paid for that roster, really, really and they're getting their bang for their buck right now, it looks like. And then obviously the Sunflower Showdown, we've already said it. I mean, there's no excuse. This year you have to beat Kansas State.
Rivalry games are weird, but yes, you
have to win
you
this
should
one.
win that. If you're Kansas, you should win that football
They
game.
haven't beaten K-State.
I know.
I know.
Since
have
Reagan
to win this year.
It's been a very long time.
They're bad. You're good.
Yep.
You're at home. They're on the road.
Rivalry games are weird.
If you can't win this one,
I know
they're just going to hold it over your head for the rest of time.
Got to win it this year.
It's just we talk about this all the time. This is your opportunity. For the Chargers, this is your opportunity to win the AFC West. Don't let it slip through your fingers. You're 3-0. They're 1-2. They got the Ravens. You got the Giants. You better get for Kansas. It's you got to get Kansas State this year. I thought Missouri was going to be very good. I've been blown away by how good Hardy is.
Well, Hardy, and then they've gotten much better quarterback play than any of us. It was a question mark.
Bo Pribula's been really, really good.
The transfer Hardy's been awesome. I mean, flat out awesome. But I think the biggest thing is they're getting better quarterback play than a lot of us thought they were going to get.
For them to lose, because I know Kevin Coleman Jr. has done great as well, but for them to lose Luther Burden and Theo Weiss and to not miss a beat and even be better it goes to show you how much better Bo Pribula, but how good he actually is, I think.
That's the story on both locals, man. Jalen Daniels been great, too.
Mm-hmm. All right, up next, let's talk some NFL with former NFL wide receiver Steve Smith. I want to get his perspective on this Chiefs offense and also what could Xavier Worthy bring to the table from what he's seen. That's coming up right here on Cody and Gold.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Vinny Pasquantino, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Really rainy, super stormy coming in to work today. That can expose problems with your roof. Don't wait any longer. Find out the shape your roof's in over at Century Roofing. Locally owned and operated. They'll take a look at it for free estimate over there as well. That way you can see for yourself whether or not you're having issues with your roof. That's what it started with for us. We were hearing a drip. I couldn't tell if it was a gutter outside, it was inside. Where's the problem? Had Century Roofing come and take a look at it. Thought might need a whole new roof because of the age of the roof. And they said, not yet. You're good. Steep pitch. Let's repair a couple of these things. We think you've still got life left in it. So they came out, did the repairs, courteous, nice, easy to work with. And I like working with locally owned and operated companies, and you should too. So if you have roofing needs, trust a company who's been doing it in Kansas City for over 35 years and over 30,000 roofs. You want a company who's going to be here in Kansas City, from Kansas City, working with you, that from the local perspective. So if you need it, trust the pillars of strength and go with locally owned and female-owned Century Roofing. Trust the pillars of strength. Go with CenturyRoofingKC.com and tell them that Cody sent you.
Whether you're looking for a Bronco, an Explorer, an F-150, or even a commercial vehicle, Robside Ford has the selection.
That's right, Kevin. We've got it all. And we've got the lowest prices in Kansas City. No gimmicks, just great deals on every new Ford.
And it's not just inventory, it's how you do business. Robside Ford makes it very simple.
We do it different on purpose. Non-commissioned sales team, upfront transparent pricing, top dollar trade-in values, and a process that's actually easy.
You've even got the reputation to back it up, Bobby. Kansas City's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, 3,000 reviews. Wow.
And this year, we're proud to be voted Best Car Dealership in KC by Kansas City Magazine.
So if you're ready for a better car buying experience,
come see us at 135th and State Line or check us out at robsight.com.
From Broncos to F-150s to work trucks, Rob Side Ford has what you need.
If you want simple and easy, you're not going to find a better spot.
Rob Side Ford. Buy right. Drive happy.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the last 2 minutes of a televised football game,
there's another timeout. We'll be back after this.
it's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate, or BPH, could be the cause. And Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
From Kansas City to the capital city, Washburn University is close. Sure, it's close to home, but it's also a close community where you get close to other students and professors, to incredible opportunities, from study abroad to internships and jobs, and where it's always easy to get close to the action. Get one step closer to your dreams. There's no place like Washburn. It's not even close. Learn more at washburn.edu/KC.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond is worthy of a Shane Company engagement ring. Our team travels the world to see diamonds in person and handpick each one. That type of dedication only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. No matter your budget, your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Get your home ready for the change in seasons with a $69 HVAC tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Our pros can help you lower energy costs, prevent costly breakdowns, and make sure your system is running at peak efficiency right when you need it most. And it's all backed by our exceptional service guarantee. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
Sailor Jerry's Rum presents FAC 31. Saturday, October 4th at Cable Dahmer Arena. Witness a full night of MMA action. Stream live worldwide. The main event is champ on champ when Jose Hernandez takes on Ray Hayes. Zach Scroggin will battle Alonzo Martinez in the co-main event. Tickets for FAC 31 are on sale now through Ticketmaster or the Cable Dahmer Arena box office. Sponsored by Gary Crossley Ford, Healthy Looks Bet Spawn Wellness, Dream Machine Motorsports, Apple Roofing, and Tintmaster.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just one cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 and monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
At Napa, we've spent the last 100 years building our business into an engine that powers yours. Whether you're big or small, national or local, Napa has the automotive solutions your business needs to stay moving. And it's all driven by a nationwide network of quality parts and exceptional service on one mission: to keep your business moving full speed ahead. That's why we are the pros that know.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, it's Trent McDuffie. The Chiefs Radio Network pregame show starts 3 hours before kickoff right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
11 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. We'll get to the trash of the day in about 20 minutes or so. Also, a reminder coming up a little bit later on in the program, Nate Taylor will join us. He is still in New York, so he'll join us on the phone today, our Chiefs insider from ESPN. But we're really excited to have former NFL wide receiver, a four-time All-Pro, Steve Smith, joining us on the show. He's the host of the 89 Show. You can catch it over on YouTube. We've had Steve on the show a few times. I think we sat next to each other in the press box a year or so ago when the Chiefs were taking, I don't know if it was the Ravens or if it was the Bengals. I can't remember which one. But Steve, good to have you on the show, man.
How you doing?
We're good. We're good. We're good, but we're trying to figure out how worried we should be about this offense. You played in the league looking at these wide receivers. How bad is it?
I don't think it's bad. I think it's problematic for you guys, the Kansas City Chiefs, because of the standard and what the expectation coming into the season. You have Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, right, he's like duct tape, electrical tape for an old man. Man, he can do anything with it. Unfortunately, you need a little bit better materials right now. And with Rashee Rice, who was really dominant in the off season, he was ahead of schedule, running full speed in OTAs, really started to establish himself as the number one wide receiver out of the room or in the room. And now that he's not available a few more games, it's starting to show that some of the role players, the 2s and 3s that are on other teams, are actually playing like 2s and 3s.
I guess when you look at that and like where they are, does that mean you still have a lot of optimism that once Worthy and Rashee Rice is back, this will look like a top 10 offense again?
I don't know. I don't think that's fair to say, because you can be a top 10 offense and not go anywhere. When you talk about the Kansas City Chiefs under Andy Reid right now with Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Chris Jones, you're associating success in the hunt, contention, playoffs. You can't keep throwing a Band-Aid on Patrick Mahomes and make it right. I think that's the part that's getting maybe you guys in trouble a little bit. And obviously, starting off where you guys are, statistically, it's going to be you're digging yourself in a hole that's going to be hard to climb out of at whatever point once the offense starts clicking.
What do you think Travis Kelce is at this point in his career? How can he be used in this offense? What should his role be, in your opinion?
I mean, his role is exactly what it is. He's a tight end, and in his prime, he was utilized like a tight end. So nothing has changed. I really think the unrealistic expectations is one of the biggest issues that is going on with the Kansas City Chiefs, because, like I said earlier, the expectation is dominance. The first couple of weeks should put everybody on notice that the Kansas City Chiefs are a team to look out for. You can't do that right now, and that's very different than what you guys are used to doing.
When you look at like your career and teams you'd come off of that were having massive amounts of success the year before, when it does start slow, is it hard to like get everybody on the same page? We feel like we're seeing more infighting, small things, right? Dust ups with Andy and Travis. And I'm trying to figure out, are we just noticing it because they're not playing well, Steve? Or do you think it's happening? Okay. That's the question.
You're noticing it because you aren't playing well. Man, Andy, Big Red, that's Big Red. He don't sugarcoat nothing. Hey, him and Travis have that relationship, but if you talk to some of the other players, back in the day when he was in Philly, Andy get up in your face a little bit. So I don't think it's something to worry about. It's just the outcome is making you guys worry, and I understand.
How surprised are you that the Chiefs and the Ravens are both have a chance to go 1-3 on Sunday? Before this season, I'd have thought that nearly impossible.
Yeah, I was just at the game. I just landed back in Charlotte. I was just at the game, and depending on who you ask, right? And I think the Eagles and the Chiefs game was the same way. It was a good game, but if your team didn't win, your perspective is different, right? But think about let's just say hypothetically you don't have a dog in the fight. You go to a game like the Ravens and Bills, and man, you got 81 points that was put up. That's freaking exciting.
When you look at what do you think, I guess, looking forward, you just watched him play. What do you think the problem on Ravens defense is? And is that something the Chiefs can take advantage of? Where are their problems?
Secondary and the lack of consistent pass rush to get the quarterback off the spot.
We're talking to Steve Smith, former NFL wide receiver. He's got the 89 show over on YouTube. He's kind enough to give us some time this morning here on 96.5 The Fan. Specifically with Tyquan Thornton, he's become a huge bright spot in the story. They talked him up during camp, and he's obviously been crucial for them. What is it that you're seeing with him? Because the first 3 weeks, even though they haven't won 3 games, that's the one thing they've been able to have success with. They've got him open down the field, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, he brings a lot to the table. Speed, height, he's going up a high point of the ball. So you can see quite early what he is capable of doing. And you also understand that, with a guy like Andy, he's going to see that opportunity and he's going to make hay with it. And I would expect things to continue. Now, I don't expect him all of a sudden to be Jerry Rice by week 10. So let's not, get ahead of ourselves. But I do think if he continues on this trajectory, he can run alongside Xavier Worthy, run alongside when Rashee Rice comes back. And now you have that those top 3 wide receivers your quarterback feels comfortable with, putting the ball in their area. And that's been the biggest concern with Patrick Mahomes over the years is, hey, he doesn't have receivers that he's comfortable with. I think Rashee Rice, prior to him getting injured, he was getting there. With the absence of Rashee Rice, that pushed Xavier Worthy into a spotlight that he needed. And then now with Thornton, I would expect Royals to come along a little bit. They liked him. He looked pretty good in camp, but he's still young, still learning the position. So developmental with Andy Reid is never been an issue, and I don't see it being an issue now.
Do you think that Rashee Rice is a top 20 wide receiver in the NFL when healthy?
I don't know if that's a fair question for me to answer. Because here's why, and I'm not going to answer it, not because I'm afraid, but here's the thing. If I say yes, or if I say no. If I say no,
he's mad at you. You say yes, everyone else is.
Well, no. Well, here's the part I say no because he got injured and it's unfair.
Yeah.
It is extremely unfair to sit here and say if he wouldn't, just like it's unfair to say if he wouldn't have got injured, right? I've had people on my show, on the 89 show, go in their comments and say, well, he was on pace for, and I've interacted. So do we credit what we're on pace for, or do we only credit what we actually did? Because, when the Powerball was $3.7 billion, I was on pace to win that. I just never got to the Powerball place to pick it. So does that mean I'm still a billionaire?
Do you think he has the talent to be that level of wide receiver? Like, let's just forget where he actually ranks.
Of course. I think because Andy Reid's offense does a great job of getting the guys who they believe are the guys, the football, right? We can go back in the day. We talk about Andy Reid, when you talk about this offense, right? Alex Smith in Kansas City, and Patrick Mahomes was just getting developed. Then you got Tyreek Hill, punt returner, right, who played running back, wide receiver, how he developed, right? The wide receivers coach that used to be there, Greg Jennings. You have Todd Pinkston, right? You have all of these players over the years under Andy Reid where they were not top anything. However, they were the top playmakers of that team when they were in that offense, and that's what you need.
Before we let you go, Steve, we're talking to Steve Smith here on 96.5 The Fan. What about the Chargers? What do you make of them? They're 3-0 and already have 3 divisional wins. They're trying to knock the Chiefs off, obviously, after 9 straight division titles.
Well, I just finished watching the Chargers. Literally, I was on the airplane watching them because I was watching Keenan Allen, just seeing how that old man is still doing it, how he's going about business, and it's awesome. Right, he's playing primarily outside, playing X, right, and Quentin Johnston is doing a really good job. They figure out how to get him the ball and show his explosiveness. Lad McConkey, he's trying to figure out now that it's no longer a secret. The gig is up. He's a hell of a football player. People are starting to game plan for him. And then that defense is crazy physical. And they got a young secondary who doesn't know anything about what they're supposed to be doing. They're not supposed to be playing this good this early. They don't know that, and that's why it makes them so dangerous, and they keep playing so well. Those young corners are doing things that, are causing conflict and hesitation in throwing the football to the wide receivers when those guys are there. So it's going to be interesting to see eventually as the season progresses, you get all the wrinkles out. Everybody's identity is fully cemented. That is going to be a challenge for the Kansas City Chiefs because the Los Angeles Chargers are no longer the same old Chargers. They are improving.
Tell us where people can find the 89 show. I know you're doing that with James Palmer, right?
Yeah, the 89 show is on YouTube. 89 with Steve Smith on YouTube. We're doing just talking football. Really, we're supposed to have MJD on today.
Nice.
My fellow coworker, to talk about running backs, right? I love to bring people on to give us their perspective, right? I can't come across like, hey, I know everything about football, and that's just the things that people automatically assume, right? But there's a lot of football that I'm still learning, right? In the management side, the how, the why, and so that's been a learning curve for me, and I've enjoyed that aspect of the media that I think would have benefited me a little bit when I was a player.
Steve, good to have you on the show, man. Appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see you in KC later this year.
Okay, appreciate it. You probably won't when it starts to get cold.
You played in Baltimore. I mean, you live in Carolina, and it gets a little chilly there in Charlotte, right?
I know, but waking up when it's chilly and freely buying a ticket to go say, hey, I want to freeze. I did that with the AFC Championship game, and I didn't have enough clothes on. So I've experienced that, and I'm like, you know what? As a guy who likes to ski, I love to ski, but I get to get off the slopes whenever I want. When you're doing media, man, you can't get away. It's bitter cold everywhere in there.
All right, there you go, man. Well, you'll have to come back or get here before it gets cold here. So you got like 2 weeks left, all right?
Hey, you know it's receivers. Madonna's.
There you go. All right, that's Steve Smith with us here on 96.5 The Fan. Good to catch up with him. And, I think he was in the press box next to us. I want to say it was the Ravens game. Maybe I'm off.
He
Ravens
got so
or
cold in
Bengals.
Kansas City in his career. He's like, I'm never going there in December.
Yeah, look, I hard to blame him. Hard to blame him for if you're someone that's not a big fan of the cold weather. Why would you go and be sitting outside on a studio set or something for 4 hours or whatever it may be? But that's Steve Smith, former NFL wide receiver, 4-time All-Pro, and he's got the 89 show over on YouTube. He does that with James Palmer. As far as Rashee Rice, I get what he was saying in his answer to the question. Talent-wise, I think, and he said it's undisputable. Talent-wise, of course he can be a top 20 wide receiver, right? Like talent-wise, of course he can be that. And look, I'm one of those people. He mentioned, the pacing. I was one of those people that, and you and I have both mentioned on the show, like, yeah, he was pacing to be that. I get his point of view, which is, do we give him credit for what he was pacing for? He didn't do it though, and so that's what he's got an opportunity to prove though when he gets back here. And what are we, 5 weeks away?
The difficulty
so he can start playing a football
he was
game.
Very good. He was around 1,000-yard receiver his rookie year. So part of it is the 938 yards I saw him get his rookie year and where he was headed. But to Steve's point, if I had paced the Saints stats out through 4 games and said this is who they are, Gold, I probably wouldn't have been anywhere close. For a 17-game season, he was pacing to be a 1,200-yard wide receiver. I do think he's capable of being that level of wide receiver again. Coming off the injury, a year out of football, maybe not. I'm not asking him to carry the entire offense. I'm asking them to have options. Now, Tyquan Thornton is your 1. That hurts a little. Tyquan Thornton is your 3. Hollywood is your 4. We're having a very different conversation offensively. That to me is like, I'm not asking Rashee Rice to save the offense. This isn't Rashee, please come help us all. This is, can you be a part of a balanced attack that actually gives, and Mahomes can save it. He can be the person who puts it on his back. That's fine. But it's got to be with more available options than they've had these first 3 games.
What Steve said about Keenan Allen, that Bink is going, I'm surprised Bink hasn't texted us yet. That Bink is going to love every bit of what Steve Smith said about Keenan Allen. Yeah.
He's a big Keenan Allen guy, if you guys didn't know.
But the point about, the Chargers, it is true. Like they have unlocked something with Quentin Johnston. Mm-hmm. That is, to me, a huge difference for that Chargers offense. He looked like he was trending towards being a bust in this league. And something changed. It's now 3 weeks of it. I know that's not everything. It's still a pretty small sample size. We've got more evidence of the opposite, but they found something this offseason, and they have consistently been able to find ways to go down the field. That's not where Ladd McConkey is going to thrive, right? But if they have a real deep threat with Quentin Johnson, it's a game changer. It's a big reason why Justin Herbert, I think, has had the start to the season he's had.
The thing I give, because I don't feel like Herbert looks any better than he has at any other point in his career. Still looks very good, putting up good stats, all that other stuff. The single best thing Harbaugh has done for that team is they went from one of the league's worst defenses who stink out loud and are not competitive and are not physical and do not compete to they are a hard-nosed defensive football team. They are tough to get yards on the last 2 years. That's a massive difference.
You know that music. That means Drew takes over here for a little bit. His hottest take from college football.
He's not going to mention some small Florida school again, right?
I don't know where he's going.
I'm not mentioning USF.
He knows he's not allowed to talk about FCS football in this segment. He knows that's the one rule. No FCS football talk.
Yeah, I promise we're not going to talk about D2 or anything like that. No, I'm going to talk about a little bit, two different things. One of them, the first one we'll start off with, is the SEC announced their annual opponents. They came out yesterday. It was supposed to today, but Cody, you brought this up to me yesterday. The Missouri Tigers, of course, for those who are interested about the Tigers, the annual opponents who they will play over the next 4 seasons every year. Arkansas, Texas A&M, and Oklahoma.
Certainly could get a worse set out of the SEC, I would say.
Yes, and I don't think you can argue with any of those, given the history between those Big 3 schools and the Missouri Tigers.
Border, sure.
You knew Arkansas, of course, was
Oklahoma
going to be.
and Arkansas makes sense. The third one could have been anybody.
Yeah, and A&M throws in the former Big 12 side of things, so I think it fits well. The thing is, it's interesting. The criteria for this, Cody, was rivalries, it was tradition, it was just in general good college football matchups. The the LSU Tigers.
It's the most offensive part of the entire
The LSU Tigers have a rivalry with Alabama that has a name, and they're not a permanent opponent for the LSU Tigers.
that is
LSU plays Arkansas, Ole Miss, and A&M. A&M, I think it's only because one game they went to 74-72, and everybody thought it was cool because they went to 8 overtimes. It's not happening again because it's 2-point conversions. If we're going to stick to the tradition and the rivalries, the first Saturday of November has a name for a reason, and that's because of LSU plays Alabama.
I'm a casual when it comes to college football viewership, right? I don't just sit down in front of the TV for 12 straight hours for college football every Saturday. I watch it as I feel like a game is interesting. Blown away, LSU, Alabama, and LSU, Florida are not a part of it.
That's another one.
LSU, Florida is a game I am aware of and what it means. And when you're telling me that's not part of it?
It should be. No, I get it. Not everybody can't schedule LSU and Alabama. I understand that, but I was surprised to see that. But yeah, LSU can't have 7 opponents, that are the same every year, and everybody else has. There is going to be some rivalry, quote unquote, that's left out when you're dealing with the amount of teams that you're dealing with here.
But some of these are just bad. Like you said, everybody can't play.
They're also
Alabama.
trying to ensure. Let's be real.
Alabama's got Mississippi State. That didn't need to be in there.
But also, they were not going to, because of just the SEC and competitive advantage. They're not going to schedule Alabama, Georgia, LSU. They're not going to do that every year. As fun as that would be for a fan base, they're trying to not screw over their SEC teams.
Right, as well.
It's like Florida, South Carolina every year. Can't wait.
So I'm not going to talk about Notre Dame either in this segment. Okay. I am going to talk about, though, the Clemson Tigers and Dabo Swinney. So I am a Dabo guy. I like Dabo more than anybody else. I think
You
in the
have
station
always
does
been.
by a mile.
I
think
genuinely
it's not close.
enjoy watching him fail.
So Dabo,
Hickory-dickory, Doc. The mouse ran up the clock.
He's a windbag.
So
quit college football. They make me pay players.
So
hasn't won anything since.
So Dabo is 1-3 for the first time ever in his coaching career. The first time Clemson's been 1-3 since 2004.
Oof.
Obviously, it's a really difficult spot to be in if you're Dabo, but I think this is time where, and this is the thing that the consensus I dug you down into the Reddit rabbit hole a little bit, just to get more, you know, I went to the forums
Dangerous
a little bit. The fans don't want Dabo fired, but they want him to adjust to the times. And I think that's the one thing. He was better this past season, but still not good enough where Nick Saban, this is why Nick Saban is the GOAT, is it didn't matter what era of college football it was, he won and knew how to adjust. Dabo is refusing to adjust to the way that college football is transforming, and it's now showing up. It's now catching up to, hey, you got to use the portal. Our guy Barber sent us a text this morning.
He did.
The top 7 teams in the transfer portal are all undefeated right now. You know who isn't in that list and is also not undefeated? The Clemson Tigers are 1-3, and they are not addressing the portal.
His arrogance and the way, he makes, I'll never forgive any grown adult who makes $15 million a year and then bitches with one of his players is going to make $10,000 threatening to quit the sport. I wish he had quit. I wish he had quit then. And I'm glad he doesn't adjust. He's just going to let himself sink and sink Clemson with him because he's decided not to allow the sport and the way it's changing to be the way he operates his life. Just quit if you don't like it.
Coach Sweeney's got that drip, and now he's on TikTok.
Roy Williams quit college basketball because he didn't like the way it was anymore. Tony Bennett quit.
You can argue, as much as Bruce Pearl wants to say whatever it is that he's stopping for, whether it's his...
He, by the way, claimed yesterday that he's not running for any office.
I think he said
now.
he's going to be the governor of Auburn, is what he said, as a matter of fact, in that video. But who knows the reasoning behind all of it. But, yeah, I do think that, to Dabo's credit, what he did last year with no transfer portal talent to make the college football playoff was remarkably impressive. But it obviously doesn't matter because it was no national title.
Correct.
And now Clemson is, it's win national title or get out. And right now they've gotten out.
Drew, that Dabo can coach your Bengals next year. Can coach your Cincinnati Bengals.
I wouldn't root for that.
I don't think he would be very good in the NFL.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
I don't think his whole mentality would work in the NFL. That's a little look
in
at
fairness,
college
there's no portal
football.
in the NFL, so hey, you know.
Well, I mean, free agency.
You're right. There actually is.
Free agency does exist. It is basically the same thing, actually. Anyway, up next, guys, let's get to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. We know a lot of you have been throwing out names of running backs that you want to see in Kansas City. So let's play along a little bit. We'll do that next.
What's up, Chiefs Kingdom? It's Chris Jones. You're listening to Cody and Gold. Weekdays 10 to 2 on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/Royal Rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down. 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000, or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com, and I look forward to working with you.
Hey, it's Gold, and I'm letting you know that FanDuel is coming to Missouri. That's right. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is finally headed to Missouri. The wait will soon be over. And on December 1st, you'll finally be able to bet on all your favorite teams and all your favorite sports. With FanDuel, there's tons of ways for you to get in on the action. You can bet on everything from those money lines to over-unders to which team is going to just win it all. You can build parlays, bet player props, ride the live lines, whatever your style, FanDuel has you covered. Plus, with live betting, you can even pick which player will score the next touchdown and the one after that. Mark your calendars. FanDuel is finally coming to Missouri on December 1st. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. FanDuel, play your game. FanDuel Sportsbook is an official partner of 96.5 The Fan. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if you're over 50, it's likely that you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600. That's 844-447-6600. Or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Your cold is coming. Your cold is coming. When you feel a cold coming, shorten it with Zicam, the #1 cold shortening brand.
Oh no, not before my big trip.
The big trip you've been planning is coming up, and so is your cold. But Zicam can shorten your cold and get you back to planning sooner.
Thanks, Revere.
We really should keep Zicam in the house.
Shorten your cold with Zicam.
Take it from America's most revered messenger. Shorten your cold at the first sign with cold shortening products from Zicam, the #1 cold shortening brand. Available in stores or see where to buy at Zicam.com.
Introducing the new Dell AI PC powered by the Intel Core Ultra processor. It helps do your busy work for you, so you can fast forward through editing images, designing presentations, generating code, debugging code, summarizing meeting notes, finding files, managing a schedule, and responding to Jim's long emails. Leaving all the time in the world for the things you actually want to do. No offense, Jim. Get a new Dell AI PC at dell.com/AI-PC. How those ahead stay ahead.
Today, we're constantly taking photos and videos to remember our favorite moments. But what about those captured before the smartphone? What about the memories tucked away on aging VHS tapes, film reels, or in fading photos?
These cherished memories are fading away with time, vulnerable to threats like heat, moisture, and mold. But fear not, there's a solution to safeguard your legacy. Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Nick. Together we founded Legacy Box over a decade ago with one mission, to bring your memories into the 21st century.
It's time to bid farewell to old tapes you can't watch and faded photos. Legacy Box transforms them into digital treasures, ready to share with a click.
Just like magic, your shoebox of memories is now safely stored in the cloud or on a thumb drive.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box, so you can rest assured your priceless moments are in good hands.
Don't let your childhood fade away on old tapes. It's time to digitize those priceless moments.
Fast forward into the digital age. Visit legacybox.com/value and unlock 50% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey. More like Mirajoyed. That Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at your local retailer.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
Thank you for making Total Wine & More America's #1 online source for spirits, beer, and wine. Better than all those delivery apps. Total Wine's prices are up to 30% lower with super fast delivery and no hidden fees. Order direct at TotalWine.com and pay less today.
Drink responsibly, B21.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. Also that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Thank you for making Total Wine & More America's #1 online source for spirits, beer, and wine. Better than all those delivery apps. Total Wine's prices are up to 30% lower with super fast delivery and no hidden fees. Order direct at TotalWine.com and pay less today.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Chiefs coverage is sponsored by Missouri Air National Guard St. Joseph, serving your community your way. Ready to launch your future? Don't miss the Missouri Air National Guard St. Joseph Career Fair, September 24th and 25th at Rosecrans Air National Guard Base. Explore over 50 careers. Search Join 139AV on Facebook or Instagram and register now.
Hey guys, did you know that September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, which makes it the perfect time to get screened? The 5-year survival rate is nearly 100% when caught early. Men over 50 or 45 if African American or with a family history should talk to their doctor about screening. Here's why screenings are important. PSA blood tests are quick and simple. Screenings can detect prostate cancer before symptoms appear. Early detection means more treatment options and better outcomes. Some prostate cancers grow slowly, others are aggressive, so early detection is vital. Prostate cancer is the second deadliest cancer for men, but when caught early, the survival rate is nearly 100%. Don't wait. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour brought to you by All Weather Decks, Kansas City's most respected deck builder. Check them out at allweatherdecks.net.
We will get to the Chiefs in just a second, but there is some breaking news in the NFL during the break, as we kind of thought it was trending toward this anyway, but the Giants are planning to start rookie quarterback Jackson Dart on Sunday, according to Adam Schefter. That's Jackson Dart making his rookie debut against the L.A. Chargers.
Got a chance to win Rookie of the Year. He got in early enough.
Look, if you're a Chiefs fan, you should hope that Jackson Dart just ends up being good and catches the Chargers off guard, because they weren't going to. Russell Wilson was not being the Chargers on Sunday. Jackson Dart probably won't either, but at least you feel like there's a shot because he's mobile, and who knows what happens there. But I'm excited to see Jackson Dart make his debut. There's no reason to not make this switch. You were 0-3. Russell Wilson has major limitations. You know, he had a huge game against the Cowboys. That's the only reason why the Chiefs got to play Russell Wilson instead of Jackson Dart. That's it. That really is the only reason why we didn't have to see Jackson Dart on Sunday night.
Thanks, Cowboys defense.
That's what
for
it was,
allowing
man.
that, because Russell Wilson throwing 3 balls into the seats at the end of the game, if he wasn't already dead to rights.
That was so embarrassing.
He certainly was now. I think just because he's a quarterback, he'll still enter the conversation. I'm assuming Egbuka is the favorite to win Rookie of the Year at the moment?
He
or
was
Tyler
not.
Warren?
No.
I mean, at the moment, like currently.
No. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Egbuka had moved up from 15-1 to 7-1. I have not checked after the Week 3 action.
God, I just assumed it was Egbuka or
Genty
Warren
was still high, and quarterbacks were still high because you just have an inside track. The latest odds right now, Egbuka had just moved. Yeah, so Egbuka
he's won now.
He is plus 360. Tyler Warren 5-1. Hampton 7.5-1. Tet McMullen 7.5-1. Cam Ward 7.5-1. Jackson Dart 7.5-1. So it's a huge group tie. Genty's fallen all the way down behind those. He's 7th best odds. He's gotten off to a very slow start.
Yes. So is Cam Ward,
Egbuka's the play here, but the quarterbacks are still the guys that always have a leg up here. Jackson Dart, I think, I don't know if we mentioned on this show, or like a week or two ago, we were mentioning, like, if you think he'll start early enough and play enough games, Jackson Dart was like 15-1. You should have bet it then. 7-1 now, I mean, I guess you still could. If Jackson Dart looks good at any point in the next week or two, he will all of a sudden move up to favorite.
One thing that's going to help Egbuka, though, is Mike Evans. They announced today he's got a hamstring injury.
Yeah.
They're bracing for him to miss 2 to 3 weeks.
Could make his job tougher, though, too, though.
Yeah, it depends on how you look at
They
it.
got a lot of injuries.
More targets, certainly, you would think, coming his way. But, yeah, you're right. It could technically make his job harder. I'm excited to see Jackson Dart. I like seeing any rookie quarterback start and see if, like, they're the next good NFL quarterback. And it's so much less stressful to watch those guys take hold in the NFC. I don't care if a really good quarterback ends up in the NFC. They're all in the AFC right now anyway. The imbalance of elite level quarterback play or top 10 quarterback play, top 15, still feels like it heavily weighs on the AFC side than the NFC.
When's the last time, I might be recently for all I know, for a rookie of the year to not be a quarterback?
Oh, it happens all the time.
How far back do we have to go?
Every like 3 or 4 years, a non-quarterback wins. It's usually running back or wide receiver, but yeah, it happens. I've looked this up before, but it's like it's every 3 or 4 years. Drew, it's not like all the time. For instance,
Garrett
3 years
Wilson.
ago it was Garrett Wilson.
Chase.
The year before
Your
that,
guy,
it was
Jamar Chase.
Oh, okay.
In the last decade, Saquon, Alvin Kamara, Todd Gurley, Jamar Chase, and Garrett Wilson have all won Rookie of the Year that weren't quarterbacks.
five-
the rest,
so
were,
half.
the rest
Yeah.
were quarterbacks.
Yeah.
But 4 of the last 6 years have been quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. But they also had great. We had an all-time year from Jane Daniels and an all-time year from C.J. Stroud.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, those are 2 of the best rookie years of all time. If you go back 20 years, there's lots of other guys too. There's Percy Harvin and Eddie
I
Lacy
think,
and a million
So
others.
it's more balanced in that positional side.
It's
with
not like
rookie
the
of year
Heisman.
stuff.
It's not
Yeah,
just quarterback.
Yeah, we
Or
talked
MVP,
about
whatever.
Talked about Egbuka a couple weeks ago. It was good value there. You're feeling good if you have a ticket on him. I think if you have a ticket on Egbuka, you should probably put a few bucks on Jackson Dart just to cover your rear a little bit here on the market because it can shift. I also think somebody worth a flyer to keep Cam Scatterboot now at 20-1. To me, I'd throw $5 on him. Because he's going to be the starting running back with the Giants now. You could have 2 rookies. Now, you might say, well, if things are going well for the offense, it won't be Scatterboot, it'll be Jackson Dart. But I don't think
they're going to lean on Scatterboot while Dart tries to get his hand on it.
Yeah, Rookie of the Year market's fun because it's going to swing so many times throughout the season. I mean, we just mentioned 1, 2, 3, 4 guys have the exact same odds, and they all have tied for the 3rd best odds.
I got to say, it's not a great time for Jackson Dart to get in the mix. The
Tough
Chargers
schedule.
defense is very tough. He has the Eagles defense, Broncos defense, and Philly again. So he's got the Eagles twice, the Broncos. New Orleans is the only game where you're like, at least you got that one. Part of me, if I were Brian Dable, would have been tempted to be like, I'll start you in New Orleans.
That's what I was thinking too. I wondered
don't know
if they
that I
would
want
have
you
just.
starting against the Chargers defense who've been beating up teams. Maybe I'll just give you a week.
In fairness,
but-
though, I think it was my wife that said this. She was like, starting against the Chargers, it might seem easier. It's going to look a lot easier when you play the Saints. You play against the Chargers, and it's like, hey, this is a little bit easier playing against Kellen Moore and this defense in New Orleans. Is that one a road game or is that a home game?
At New Orleans.
Not that it matters right now. New Orleans is bad everywhere.
And yeah, in fairness, the Giants and Jets both stink. So it doesn't matter whether they play at home or not either.
Let's switch back over to the Chiefs here, since it is the Chiefs Red Half Hour. But yeah, Jackson Dart will be the starter for the Giants coming up this Sunday. I've seen everyone's tweets, texts, just like you have, Gold, that they're ready for a running back change. I'll be honest, in the break, I just showed Gold another highlight where I can't for the life of me tell you where Isaiah Pacheco was going versus the massive hole that was created by the offensive line. He just ran directly into Joshua Simmons' back. So I get the trouble with the running game and the vision problems that Pacheco has had this year. So let's do a choose your own adventure a little. If you got to pick your poison, you got to decide which angle you were going to go with. And I told you contract matters here.
Absolutely has
Draft
to.
pick compensation matters when I'm asking you this question. Alvin Kamara, Breece Hall, or Devin Achane. If you could get, first, would you want any of those guys on the Chiefs? Second, if you could have one of those 3, who is it?
Yeah, so a couple of different ways to answer it for sure. I would say the most realistic candidate, if we factor in contract and everything, is Achane. I think he's the most realistic one. The Dolphins season is going to continue to go south. Maybe they'll end up firing their head coach at some point this season. Contract-wise, it's doable. He's got a year left on his deal. He's not making any money.
After this year, you mean? So he's got, okay.
Yeah, year left, sorry.
Yeah, I know. The way I was just trying to hear about it. Yeah.
So, he turns 24 next month. So young back, plenty of tread on the tires still. He's someone that obviously is a great receiving option as well. We got done talking about that with the Bills game on that last Thursday night, where HN, I think, had 6 catches in the first half. So they need someone out of the backfield that can catch the football as well. I would like Brashard Smith to be that, but right now we haven't seen it. So HN to me is realistic based on compensation for draft pick and what he's compensated for. The obvious best back in this conversation is for the Chiefs is Kamara. I mean, I think we all agree that's the answer. The problem with him is he has $9 million this year. Now it's less than that now, but $9 million this year. $18.6 million next year, and he'll be 31.
And that's
how old is he?
He'll be 31 next year, making $18 million as a cap hit. So that's the problem I would have with him. I agree he's the best back for this season.
I think for me,
I don't think the Jets will trade Breece Hall personally. So.
What's really tough about it is I genuinely think Alvin Kamara is the best fit, as in just stylistically. He is the best fit.
Do you think they would utilize any of these backs enough to where it's worth to trade them? Like,
I think if they trade for someone like that, they're going to use them. But like Alvin Kamara is the best fit, but also you just mentioned his contract stuff. I'm not interested in that. I trade for Breece Hall. And the reason why is the Jets are in a complete rebuild anyway. They're going to have to find a new quarterback this offseason. Breece Hall is not going to save him. And their choices this offseason will be trade Breece Hall right now and get something for him, or he becomes an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. Are you really going to are you going to give Breece Hall the type of top running back money he requires? And I don't feel the pressure.
I mean, he's never had a 1,000-yard season.
I know, but like it's still expensive. I don't see any reason. Like I don't feel obligated if I'm the Chiefs to give Breece Hall a contract. I'm fine to just trade for him, use the pick, try to have a running game, and try to go win a Super Bowl and cash out that way. I don't feel the obligation to need more than 1 year. I can solve my running back problem in the draft next year, similar to how I should have solved it this year. The thing I like the best, Gold, is the thing that we have been missing in this running game the most. Explosive runs. Breece Hall is good.
He does.
From an explosive run perspective. You want to talk about a guy who can get 80, 40, 50 yards in a run? It is Breece Hall. And you're right. He's never had a 1,000-yard rushing season, so he's never, statistically, he's not like his best season is not way different than Isaiah Pacheco's best season.
I mean, HN had a 61-yard touchdown last year, had a 76-yarder his rookie year. So I think they both would fit that category. I like the receiving element as well as HN. You know, this year the numbers haven't been crazy, but
I think it costs more to get HN too, so I'm going with the cheaper option in Breece Hall. Shouldn't
it
cost more? 2 years of control versus 1. Shouldn't that just alone jump the figure?
In general, though, we're still talking about running back. I mean, what's high? I mean, to me, we're
third, fourth.
I was gonna say, I think it's no more than a 4th-round pick.
Yeah,
I would do that in a heartbeat.
That's always the question.
So, I think I would say Breece Hall as well. In terms, if I knew that it was just this year, see, I would make the trade wanting more than just this year. If I was making the trade for just this year, it's Alvin Kamara and it's him, just for the season. But I think looking ahead,
so that's why you'd want.
And it's not. It's not because I want Breece, but
you give him
I think the same thing goes for either of them. Honestly, and it's not just because of Clyde, but it's you don't have to worry about drafting a running back again. You don't have to worry about it. You just have to pay HN or you have to pay Breece Hall at some point.
I just don't need to do that though. I'll just draft one.
If they're great, I'll consider it. I'm just saying I don't have to.
Because I know, but even as great as Isaiah Pacheco was, how many good years does he give you? 2?
Yeah, 2 years for you. Yep. And it's time to move on.
Pretty good.
I know. I understand that. But I wouldn't want to be in that cycle where you're trying to bank on them drafting a running back where I think
teams do it all the time.
I got to draft a new running back every 4 years if it's going well.
I understand that, but I think there's, and maybe for that reason, I guess you would just draft a running back every 2 years because the way that the way that Andy utilizes running backs in the offense, you don't want to pay a running back. I can understand that viewpoint as well, but I would take HN or Breece Hall because you shouldn't have to worry about running back again, at least for the foreseeable next 2 or 3 years, where you can rely on replacing Chris Jones and looking to just further increase your defensive prowess. And
I just don't want to pay a running back. So I'll just do that. You know, that's why I'm okay with the trade for a 1 year stopgap. That's okay with me.
This
how much is the contract though? Like how much money? How much money is How much money is Breece Hall going to make in a contract extension? How much money is Devon Achane?
Let's look at the running back market running back contracts.
Probably below the top end guy. He's not going to make the Alvin Kamara Saquon.
Yeah, Kamara's number is ridiculous for him being the age that he is.
He's not going to get Barkley's deal where he's making $20 million, but also, for example, James Conner is $9.5 million. David Montgomery $9.1 million. Ramondre Stevenson $9 million. I don't want to pay my running back $9 million a year. I just fundamentally I'm against it. I'm not saying it's the right. You have to agree, but like,
is that because they wouldn't utilize him?
That's part of it. And I also think running backs, if you're willing to draft them, you can find other running backs. Unless we're talking about the Derrick Henrys and Jonathan Taylors of the world. And obviously the Chiefs could have drafted Jonathan Taylor. They chose not to. But, those type of backs.
They took...
Hell, they could have drafted Ollie Gordon, who's playing well for the Dolphins right now.
Look, they could have taken a million different running backs. That's the
point, though. There's a bunch of them you can... There are running back options out there if you really want to address the position.
This is what's really tough, because we haven't said it as firmly as we have with like a guy like Jawan Taylor. We are one more week away of him running directly into the back of an offensive lineman away from me wanting to Jawan Taylor bench him. Like, I'm sorry. If every game I got to watch 3 plays where you miss the hole and run into the back of your offensive lineman, run into negative yardage, so much as one fumble happens, Andy will bench him because of the other issue to come up. The thing that is protected, Isaiah Pacheco, I think in Andy Reid's eyes, is he protects the football. Andy cares about that. That's the thing that matters. And I'm not saying it shouldn't matter. It definitely should.
Yeah,
but it's like,
absolutely.
I'm like one more week away from having to watch like 4 highlights of Pacheco not knowing where he's going, turning around backwards on a screen pass, missing giant running lanes, to just being like, just start Brashard Smith or trade for a guy so I don't have to watch mistakes in the running game. We can't have
any trade stuff, though. You guys agree? I think we're 3+ weeks away, though. Still,
for sure.
That's the thing.
So why not start Brashard Smith and find out if you need to trade for him?
I don't even need him to start. I don't need him to start. I just need more snaps.
Yeah,
because evidently I think it's the same thing with Andy as it is for Spags. He likes his guy. He thinks Pacheco's fine, and they're going to work it out.
There's definitely a trust factor.
I think that. Which also lies into the fact of they might draft a rookie. Who the hell knows if they're actually going to play him?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on what round they draft him.
They could draft a running back in the 4th round. Are we sure Andy's even going to let him get the
historically running backs I don't care about?
I would say, next
Kareem
year,
started right away.
If we're just looking guys under contract next year, Kareem Hunt's contract expires, Pacheco's contract expires, Elijah Mitchell's contract expires. They would only have Brashard Smith under contract, and technically Carson Steele. So you know what I mean? Like somebody will have to
because
be starting.
Is there a name we're missing, by the way? Can't be ETN now. They're too competitive.
Yeah, down in Jacksonville.
No one's ever trained Bijan.
Damian Pierce down in Houston. He's not even playing at all right now. Nick Chubb is carrying the ball. That team's a mess. They're 0-3.
I'd rather have any of the other 3 than
same. Now, Pierce might only cost you a 6th or 7th round pick, and to me, it's not a huge upgrade, but I would prefer Pierce. But to me, Brashard Smith could be Damian Pierce if they let Brashard Smith get an opportunity.
Hubbard, strike anybody? Carolina stinks.
Is he starting for them?
I don't know his situation fully.
I mean, he's healthy and playing, and is,
he's a live body. Cody basically just said he's alive.
I don't think Carolina would get rid of him.
Basically,
what do you mean? They're awful.
Hubbard just signed a new deal. I'm out.
That's right. Oh, I forgot he just got a contract.
But I think the weird part about this
definitely out.
The weird part about this conversation, though, I think, is that we're almost. I think all of us collectively, in a way, are almost in between doing the rental thing or having one with long term. I guess outside of you, Gold, you're just it doesn't because if you make the trade. Is it a rent? Can we all agree that a rental is more likely what it's going to be? I mean, even if they get Achane, are they going to extend him, or are they just going to draft another running back and he'll be here for this year? Like, is the juice worth the squeeze to give up a 6th-round pick when, let's say they're 3-3, and you're like, well, I think he could help the offense, but we don't know how well Andy's going to utilize him. Is it worth giving up a 5th-round pick or a 4th-round pick for a guy that that's just going to be gone at the end of the year and you're not going to pay him after? I don't know if it's...
That's where the draft compensation, if it's someone that has a deal that's truly expiring, the compensation won't be as high. That's why the compensation would be a 5th or 6th probably. Yeah. If it's someone that the deal is expiring.
That's why
someone says, doesn't this go back to the offseason? Of course, we've talked about this at great length. Yes, when the day they re-signed Kareem Hunt, I'll never forget it, honestly.
We all said the show was like, oh no.
Josh Briscoe was walking in the studio right as it happened, and our first question to him was, does this mean they're just not going to really even address the running back in the draft? And he's like, and I think Briscoe was like, oh no, they still will. And I guess they did in the 7th round, but it wasn't good. There's guys like Javonte Williams and others for the same amount of money they could have signed that they paid Elijah Mitchell, who hasn't been active for a single game, and I don't know if he ever will be. And obviously we've seen Kareem Hunt, who's been their better running back, but there's still serious long-term limitations. Kareem Hunt is going to wear down as the season goes on. That's just the reality. We saw it last year.
Yes. And my hope would be that before they made any kind of move, that they would just give more carries to Brashard Smith and see what you got there. Now, I also understand, and you understand, we all do, that at this point, they're not going to probably do anything until they see the full version of the offense.
And I get it.
3 weeks from now. When Rashee Rice is back in week 7, that's when they'll start making some determinations of what the hell they are as an offense. But it doesn't matter who the wide receivers are. Isaiah Pacheco's mistakes have nothing to do with what the wide receivers are doing. They're just mistakes. They're just not having vision on the football field. They're unrelated to the offensive woes caused by wide receiver play. They are simply, he is turning the wrong way or running the wrong way or missing gaps or assignments. Those things are different. And I'm not saying he can't improve on those. 2 years ago, he was much better. He has downslid since then. That might just be the downside to people get tape on you and you're your 7th round running back. I don't know. But, like, he's come back to earth quite a bit since his rookie season. And so that's why I wanted to toss these names out there. I couldn't see anybody else I missed on the list.
I do wonder, because to me, the way, I don't know what Andy thinks about that position or whatever the case is, or just the style of play that would run or which would be more appealing. But if you're Andy, if you know, we've gotten a glimpse of what, in particular, Breece Hall and Devon Achane can do in terms of their age. Kamara will leave out because we know what he can do, but he's older. Andy knows what Breece Hall and Devon Achane can do. Does that make it more appealing where Andy's like, I want you to go get him and I want you to extend him because I know what he does and I don't have to worry about developing a guy out of college. I know what I have. And if I have Breece Hall and Devon Achane, I know what I'm getting and I know how to utilize them and I know that they can be productive and I can trust them, which seems to be a big factor with this team on both sides of the ball, as we've talked about at length. I don't know if that changes anything in Andy's mind of, I'd rather not worry about developing a guy and just get what I can get and know what I'm getting and use that player in a way that we know he can be used.
The only potential in-house solution is Brashard Smith. And I'm not saying he will be that, but he's the only potential in-house solution. Outside the organization's the only other path. Kareem Hunt is what he is. Pacheco, I think we're finding out, unfortunately, where he's at in his career. And Elijah Mitchell, to this point, they haven't even made active, so I don't even know how I can say he's their only another internal option. The guy can't even get active on game day. So Brashard Smith, I'm hoping that, once again, the first drive out of halftime, best drive of the year, it's not like Brashard Smith had 30 yards on the drive, but the fact that he was in on that drive, the fact they used some misdirection, the fact that they went under center, all those are elements I hope they take from that game and start using more during the stretch without Worthy, without Rice. And Brashard Smith, I don't know what his exact snap percentage was. It still wasn't very high. To me, it should slowly increase. Maybe not even slowly. It should just increase. He doesn't need to start for this team, but his snaps should be going up.
It was the fumble stuff, so it's probably not going to happen again. I will point out, and he's not going to change who his starting running back is in the middle of the year. He straight up started LaShawn McCoy for half of an NFL season, and the first year they won the Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes, LaShawn McCoy was the starting running back for this team for a whole half a year. He fumbled a couple of times. They put in Damian Williams, and they never looked back. So they are willing to make running back changes in the middle of the year. If they got Achane, I think he's immediately the starter, and he's playing all the time, and they make their... And look, the truth is, if they traded for a player like that, there's at least a 50-50 chance that Pacheco's going back to those teams in exchange for it, as a way of not muddying up the running back waters, and instead it's still just Kareem Hunt, Achane, and Brashard Smith. I don't even think that's out of the question, which we're not wondering where the snaps are going.
I guess this wouldn't be it's not a fun conversation, but how much is it to cut Isaiah Pacheco? Because
I think
no reason. Rookie.
Because there's no reason to do that.
$0.
There's no reason to do that. Why? I mean, for what you so we can see more Kareem Hunt and just like, you know what I mean? Like I don't think
if you asked me how much it was to cut Kareem Hunt, I'd listen to that.
Well, I think they'd fizzle out the room in some way. Whether it's
no, they would just cut Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah. And then they would have Brashard Smith.
Like if you told me they brought it, they would just cut Elijah Mitchell.
They would just keep they'd have 4 running backs on the roster then.
Yes.
Yeah, they would just cut Elijah Mitchell. It'd be Pacheco. It'd be Achane, Pacheco, Kareem Hunt.
The dead cap hit on Kareem Hunt and Isaiah Pacheco, if you wanted to know, although I don't think it matters, is like $20,000. So,
literally $19,777.
So that's not important.
All right, up next, guys, we'll get to what's trending. We'll talk more about what happened on Monday Night Football and how we view the Ravens and the Lions, 2 opponents in the next couple weeks.
What's up, Kansas City? This is Bobby Witt Jr., and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays starting at 10 on 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Football is back. Underdog, the best place to select entries and win money all season long. And you can play right now in Missouri. I've told you before, it is super easy. You download the app, choose which of your favorite players will go higher or lower on stats like touchdowns, receiving yards, interceptions, and more. You can mix and match sports, a little baseball tonight. Then you start lining up your Thursday night and your Sunday afternoon entries. And you can win up to 5,000 times your cash. What I like over at Underdog is the multiple ways you can play, including streaks. Each streak starts by making 2 picks. If both picks are correct, the next pick the streak becomes available. You also can do ladders or draft style, pick'ems and champions. There's so many different selections and ways to play over at Underdog. We talked about what we liked in the game last night. That one was good in the selection camp. Now I'm going to see if I can keep it rolling on the baseball in today. So join the millions who have already won billions on Underdog and download the app and sign up with promo code TAPP. TAPP to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code TAPP, TAPP. Must be 18 plus and present in Missouri. Terms apply. See assets at underdogfantasy.com/web/playing-good-terms_DFS_.html for details. Concern with your play. Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit www.ncbgambling.org.
Fall's the best time of year to clean up the outside of your home or business, and the best way to do that is with a fresh coat of paint from my friends at CertaPro Painters. You want your home or business to make a great impression, and that starts with the exterior. And when you choose CertaPro Painters, you're choosing the best in the business for your job. CertaPro Painters go the extra mile. If there's a way to save you money, they'll let you know, and they take care of every detail from start to cleanup. So do what we did and schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
Man, if your stream isn't as strong as it used to be, or you're taking more breaks to the bathroom than the last 2 minutes of a televised football game,
there's another timeout. We'll be back after this.
it's time to get checked. An enlarged prostate, or BPH, could be the cause. And Kansas City Urology Care is here to help. Fast answers, trusted care. Don't wait. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced urology team. Visit kcuc.com today. At KCUC, you see the best in KC.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CODE to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
I've been playing sports all my life. Little football, basketball, pickleball, cross training, mud events, Spartan races and things like that.
For Dr. Eric Williams, a successful chiropractor, staying active means everything. So when nagging knee pain slowed him down, he didn't want drugs or invasive surgery. He found a natural way to get lasting relief. QC Kinetics Cellular Therapies.
We're using my body's natural abilities to get better. And that's huge. In time, that's going to be the way of the future. Using your own body's ability to heal. Now I can play day to day and not have that severe pain.
Now he's back out there doing what he loves, thanks to QC Kinetics.
Life is good. You're not going to slow me down.
Leave the pain behind and get moving. Book your free consultation today with QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
Has your home been on the market without success? An expired listing can feel frustrating, but it doesn't have to be the end of your journey. The Sharp Homes team specializes in turning things around. The Sharp Homes team can also give you options. Do you want to skip the showings and open houses and go straight to sold? Well, contact them to discuss their instant offer program. If I needed to sell my home, Dawn Sharp, brokered by Epic Realty, would be the only agent I would trust. Google Sharp Homes Team. That's Sharp Homes Team. Google them today.
Morning, Zoe. Got donuts.
Jeff Bridges, why are you still living above our garage?
Well, I dig the mattress, and I want to be in a T-Mobile commercial like you. Teach me, Saldana.
Oh, no, I'm not really prepared. I couldn't possibly. At T-Mobile, get the new iPhone 17 Pro on them. It's designed to be the most powerful iPhone yet and has the ultimate pro camera system.
Wow, impressive. Let me try. T-Mobile is the best place to get iPhone 17 Pro because they've got the best network.
Nice, Jeffrey.
You heard them. T-Mobile is the best place to get the new iPhone 17 Pro on us with eligible trade-in in any condition.
So, what are we having for lunch?
Dude, my work here is done.
With 24 monthly bill credits on Experience Beyond for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits ended. Balance due if you pay off earlier. Cancel. Finance agreement. iPhone 17 Pro, 256 gigs, $1,099.99 and new line minimum $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data 1H2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Thank you for making Total Wine & More America's #1 online source for spirits, beer, and wine. Better than all those delivery apps. Total Wine's prices are up to 30% lower with super fast delivery and no hidden fees. Order direct at TotalWine.com and pay less today.
Drink responsibly, B21.
This is the story of the one. As a custodial supervisor at a high school, he knows that during cold and flu season, germs spread fast. It's why he partners with Grainger to stay fully stocked on the products and supplies he needs, from tissues to disinfectants to floor scrubbers. All so that he can help students, staff, and teachers stay healthy and focused. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Thank you for making Total Wine & More America's #1 online source for spirits, beer, and wine. Better than all those delivery apps. Total Wine's prices are up to 30% lower with super fast delivery and no hidden fees. Order direct at TotalWine.com and pay less today.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Listen to the Chiefs and Ravens on Sunday with pregame starting at noon, kickoff at 3:25 with Mitch, Danon, and Kling. Right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2. Kansas City in Odyssey Sports Station. What's trending?
#1 on What's Trending, the Royals do begin a series tonight in LA against the Angels at 8:38. First pitch here on 96.5 The Fan. Vern's on deck show at 7:30. Vern will be going with the caffeine tonight or whatever it is he needs.
You know what?
Cole Reagan's on the mound, by the way.
You can take it as a positive. It is September 23rd, and the Royals are not yet eliminated from playoff contention. They can, however, be eliminated tonight. The Royals have to finish 6-0. The Rangers have to finish 5-1, and two other teams have to be winless for the rest of the year.
That's it.
But if all those things happen, dude, I'll tell you right now, if we get within 2 games of it and it's still alive, then we'll really be talking about it. Next up on What's Trending, if the New York Giants have decided to make a change at quarterback, Jackson Dart will start Sunday against the Chargers, according to multiple reports. Honestly, I'd rather Dart try to beat the Chargers than Russell Wilson at this point. I didn't think either Giant squad was. That's also why this game is so important for Kansas City. Chargers have the Giants. Their schedule's not overly difficult this year, but Jackson Dart will be the quarterback on the other side this time.
Next on What's Trending news, just coming out in the last 5 minutes or so, Oklahoma State has fired their football coach, Mike Gundy. The Gundy era has reportedly come to an end. Pete Thamel reporting that, 21 seasons, $170 and 90 was his record. 11 of his teams spent at least 1 week in the top 10 of the AP poll, including a number 2 ranking back in 2011. 6 of his teams finished top 10 nationally for scoring offense, but it was more than time for
some good
Mike
jobs
Gundy.
open in college football. Oklahoma State and Virginia Tech already?
Yeah, and 18 years and 1 day ago, this was Mike Gundy.
And then you want to write articles about guys that don't do things right and downgrade them, the ones that do make plays. Are you kidding me? Where are we at in society today? Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40. I'm not a kid. Write something about me.
And now he's 58 years old.
All-time Grant.
Oh yeah, it's one of those we'll always remember. It's something everybody knows exactly.
Write about me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
Anytime anyone has turned 40 inside
I'm
of
a
my friend
man.
group,
I'm 40.
it's immediately the first thing anybody says. Like when you turn 40 gold, 90 of your friends will send you that exact
And he is now fired.
Yeah. Next up on What's Trending, speaking of firing, the Falcons have fired their wide receiver coach, Ike Hilliard. They have allowed former, Ty Hilton? No, wait, who is it? Not T.Y. Hilton. Who am I thinking of? I don't remember. Their quarterbacks coach is going to take over the wide receiver duties. Their offensive coordinator is also going to move from the boot to the sideline. And Brian Callahan for the Titans is giving up play calling duties. Quarterback coach Bo Hardigree.
Steps towards getting fired.
Quarterback coach Bo Hardigree will take over. The last time he called plays is when he took over for a fire John Gruden in Las Vegas.
Yeah, Callahan will get fired at the end of the year.
And they'll bring in a new offense and a new offensive coordinator. I don't mean to beat this, but this is insane, the way people have been handling quarterback. It's stupid.
You're saying the Titans should go hire Mario Cristobal because he coached Cam Ward before?
I'm saying they should have fired Brian Callahan before the season started and got him his Ben Johnson and not messed around. Just found a good offensive coach to start him with.
Yep.
Lastly on What's Trending, Mike Evans expected to be out 2 to 3 weeks with a hamstring injury. Not as severe as the one he had last year where he was out over a month, but something to keep an eye on for a Bucs team that is 3-0 with 3 wins in the final minute of their games atop the NFC South. That is What's Trending. Yeah, Mike Gundy, look, he's obviously famous for the rant. He's also, of course, become controversial over the last couple of years and everything. Frankly, they've underachieved the last couple of years. Yeah, there were people that wanted him fired a year or so ago. But Oklahoma State, that's a big-time job, no question. And it'll be interesting to see what direction they have. They also have a ton of money. Like it's not a program that's lacking funds. I understand that T. Boone Pickens has since passed away, but they've got quite the alumni base there still around Oklahoma State there in Stillwater, Oklahoma.
You got to find some other rich guy to buy up all your stuff. I'm sure whatever relative of his who got all of his cash probably also still donates to the university. I mean, look, very few coaches get a 20-year run at a university. That's a hell of an accomplishment. It means you have to do a lot of winning at Oklahoma State.
Yeah, especially being an alum, it makes it always harder to lay him off and to get rid of a guy that is technically one of your own. But yeah, I agree. It was time. I think that job now. I know Virginia Tech's got a lot of great history, obviously, with the Beamer family, of course, being involved there. But I think Oklahoma State, out of the 3 that are open now in UCLA, VTech, and now Oklahoma State's the best one.
Do you think Gundy coaches again? He's 58. He's been there for 20 years. He obviously doesn't need the money, right? He's made plenty of money in his coaching career.
He had chances to leave Oklahoma State
Tennessee
multiple
and
times and didn't
I could
take
see him coaching again, yes.
Like a non-Power 5, or do you think a lower-level SEC team would consider him anymore? He's not been good the last year or two.
I think lower-level SEC would consider him, but given how they've kind of fallen off since they made that Big 12 title game a few years ago.
3-9 last year, 1-2 this year.
But if I'm UCLA, I mean, I can do a lot worse than Mike Gundy.
Wow, UCLA has a mess.
They have no resources. That job might be one of the worst jobs in the country, period. Forget Power 5.
But I mean, if I'm UCLA, he's probably the first person I call.
He's saying they don't have the money to pay for.
Yeah.
I don't know if Gundy would want to go there either. Like UCLA can call, but if I'm Gundy, I know I just got laid off, but I don't know if I want to be there.
The question will be, do we see...
That's why Deshaun Foster was the coach and nobody else.
Do we see Mike Gundy on College Game Day or Big Noon Kickoff?
Probably.
Here very soon.
Character.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
He would be
He's
good.
got the personality.
I think he'd be good for TV.
Now, he'll say whatever is on his mind. Like, will they give him that freedom, right? Like, he'll be controversial, but do those networks want to go to that extreme or not? Because he's had some rants that obviously have gotten people's attention. And I'm not just talking about the I'm a man, I'm 40. There's obviously been other stuff that people have been fired up about over the years.
Any chance he comes back in 10 years like Rich Rod randomly showed back up into college football?
Oh, back to Oklahoma State? No.
Didn't Rich Rod end up back in West Virginia or whatever?
This is over.
That was weird.
He's there.
That was weird after all those years, after going to Michigan, after bouncing around.
Yeah, but he didn't get fired at West Virginia.
That's true. He took a job somewhere else.
He failed somewhere else. He didn't. He never failed there. So it's like it's all good. If you can come back if you didn't fail where you were already at.
I could absolutely see him having a bit of a Butch Jones trajectory because Butch Jones now is the coach at Arkansas State after his time in Tennessee.
Butch Jones
took some time off. Is now at Arkansas State. I could see Gundy in the Sun Belt. I think I could see it.
I'll just be honest.
He's going to coach like Louisiana Tech or the Raging Cajuns or something like that. UL Monroe.
Some of this is just like a personality difference between me and a different person or me and other people, whatever it is. If I were 58 years old and I had made all this money in my life, if it's coaching the Sun Belt or never coach again, I'm never coaching again. I'm out.
Depends if he loves what he does. If he misses it, that's all they've done for 20 years.
I'd almost rather just try to find like my high school, like if I had a kid in high school and coach their high school than that.
Like Gundy
I'd rather coach wide
football.
receivers coach at high school for my son than end up in the Sun Belt coaching football. I just take my millions of dollars and retire. I don't know if his kids are in high school.
Didn't his son play for him at Oklahoma State in the last couple years?
I think so.
And in fairness to the Sun Belt, they might have a team that's in the playoff this year, for all we know. James Madison, JMU.
I know. I'm just saying.
But
That's
I get it.
You're a James Madison guy?
Not particularly, but the Dukes are very good.
We will get to all 32 in about 8 minutes or so. But let's talk about last night a little bit, because those two teams, the Lions and the Ravens, of course, the Chiefs are going to play over the next month. Ravens this Sunday, Lions in a few weeks after that Jags game. And so we got a little glimpse of them. First of all, the Lions, their offense, the worry after week one, no. The Lions offense, just fine. Once again, I mean, Jared Goff played great. The entire offensive attack was so impressive last night against Baltimore. Now, that's who I want to talk about first, because that's who the Chiefs are playing on Sunday. Let's worry about them. We'll see the Lions in a couple weeks and how they're playing. That Ravens defense, fortunately, is a problem for them, because they've given up the most points along with the Dolphins in football this year, 97 of them. Their offense looks great. Lamar's playing great. Derrick Henry's got a fumbling problem all of a sudden, but the offense looks great. They got Mark Andrews back involved. Zay Flowers was shut out last night, yet they still were able to move the football. So I think offensively the Ravens look great, and that's why the national narrative about them is not nearly as bleak, seemingly, as for the Chiefs. We know the Chiefs' offense is a mess. We've gone through this.
It's funny, but they both have one massive glaring problem.
Their defense, the Chiefs' defense, has been very good since the Chargers game. The Ravens' defense stinks. Their offense is awesome, and yet the Ravens are the same record, and it's like, oh, they'll be fine. The Chiefs, meanwhile, nationally, it's like, oh, they're in big trouble. They're in big trouble.
That's just the way. I think it's just because of the way you see it. It's easy to just be like, well, they'll figure out a way to get a stop. Cincinnati didn't last year. Like, if you have a genuinely awful defense, it could be a long time and a tough haul in the old NFL season if you're unable to do it. The difference is that Baltimore's had the number one offense, I think, in the NFL, or I think it's the number one, 37 points per game offense in the NFL. The Chiefs' defense has been very good, but they still had a game in which they struggled against the Chargers, so they only have the 9th best scoring defense or whatever in the NFL. So, like, maybe that's viewing it a little bit different. I think these teams are in the exact same spot. And I can't believe these two teams are in the exact same spot. These were what I would have considered 2 of the top 4 Super Bowl contenders in the entire NFL coming into the year. One of them, most likely, barring some tie, which seems very unlikely, one of them, Gold, is going to be 1-3. The thing I will say is, I think, and we can talk more about Worthy tomorrow, without Worthy, I don't think that this team is in a position to take advantage of the Ravens' bad defense. I mean, I understand. Like,
I agree. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game.
They're going to have to. I think they're going to have to win via defense. I don't think they're just going to be able to be like, you know what? Let's just take advantage of this horrible Ravens defense, and we're going to throw it up and down the field. Not with the current pieces you have available to you.
No, but it is the worst defense they have faced this year. I mean, that's just a fact.
Well, they faced the Chargers, who currently have the number 4 ranked defense at 16.7 points per game. Who else have they faced?
Eagles.
Eagles are middle of the road, 15th ranked
Giants.
defense in game. Now, the Giants' defense is not very good.
Well, that's what that Cowboys
and that
game,
Cowboys game is certainly skewing theirs in a very bad direction. Even with that, they're only 24th. So they're bottom 10, but yes, this is the worst defense. Baltimore gives up the second most points per game in the NFL. Miami gives up 32.3. Baltimore gives up 30. That can't be right. They give them the same number of points. Whatever. This thing's just wrong.
Okay.
It's fine. The thing I'm looking at is wrong. They've given up the identical number of points. They have the worst defense.
Yeah, I'm with you that I don't, just because the Ravens defense is bad does not mean I think the Chiefs are suddenly going to unlock everything. But I will say the notion, though, that like, we watched the Ravens offense last night and the Chiefs are going to get destroyed. I firmly disagree. I don't know if the Chiefs are going to win on Sunday or not. I don't think they're getting destroyed. I don't think either team is destroying the other. As you said, one side of the ball for each is a problem. One side of the ball has been a strength for them. We also know that these teams know each other very well. 2 coaches know each other very well.
Andy's 5-1 career against them.
I think that's right. Lamar's only won one time, yeah. And they're like both teams will be up for this game. The magnitude of it is massive. Arrowhead will be rocking all of that. I'm not worried about this game getting out of hand. I'm worried, of course, that if the Chiefs were to get down, though, do they have the offense to get back? Like if the Ravens went down the field on their opening drive and get 7, admittedly, I would be concerned at that point only because this offense right now has not shown their ability to truly put multiple scoring drives together. The Chiefs' offense, that is.
Touchdown drives specifically.
They did it against the Chargers. They had 5. At the end of that game, they did score on 5 straight possessions. They weren't 5 touchdowns, but they scored on 5 straight possessions. But that's not a battle you want to get in And it's weird that Lamar Jackson got sacked 7 times last night.
That's not likely to happen on Sunday.
No, that's only the second time I think in his career it's happened. So it's definitely not likely. But was there something the Lions did in particular? Was it an issue that the Ravens just have on their offensive line? Spags will have some sort of play, some sort of a game plan, I should say. But the Ravens will probably play better, cleaner football, I guess is what I'm saying on Sunday. Derrick Henry, is he going to fumble for a 4th straight game?
Probably not. Go ahead, Drew.
I don't have the numbers in front of me. How many times did the Browns sack him? Because the Browns obviously with that defensive front,
I'd have to go and look.
I don't know
we can look.
Because if he was sacked like 4 or 5 times, then all of a sudden maybe that actually is a concern. Is the offensive line for the Ravens too?
I think it is, and I think it is for the Chargers and some other teams too. The problem, like coming out of this game, and honestly, it does not matter who wins or loses. It does not matter the style in which they win or lose.
3 sacks against him. The Browns did.
A little bit. I mean, 3 sacks, not a small amount in an NFL game.
And Myles Garrett had 1.5 of them.
He's now been sacked 12 times on the season, which is a lot for 3 games, even if you know that 7 is in a single game. So 4 sacks per game is a lot. But the truth is that no matter who wins or loses, doesn't matter if it's 19, 18, or 34-33. The clear narrative is the team who wins is back to being a real Super Bowl contender and deserves to be amongst the conversation of the teams in the AFC who have a real chance to go to the Super Bowl. The loser of this is out of that conversation until they prove that they deserve to be back in it. Not saying they can never re-enter it, but they're going to have to work hard to re-enter that conversation versus just back in it for the winner.
It's a narrative shifter on Sunday, no question. There's multiple paths that you can take throughout a season, and depending on the result on Sunday, it sends you down a completely different path, good or bad, as you were laying out for each one of these teams. That's what makes it such a big contest on Sunday. I agree with this text, 913-586-7965. Someone says maybe the reason why the national narrative is that it's way bleaker for the Chiefs than the Ravens is that the Ravens are in an AFC North right now where they don't have a 3-0 Chargers team in the AFC North. That
right now it's a 2-1 team without a starting quarterback and a 2-1 Steelers team.
I get that, where you're saying, hey, could the Ravens end up winning the AFC North with 10 wins? Actually, the way things are trending, yes.
Maybe.
The Chiefs aren't winning the AFC West with 10 wins. You know what I'm saying? So
take 12.
that's probably part of the narrative, and it makes sense. The Ravens, honestly, 10 wins might win that division this year. The AFC West, it's not taking 10. It's not taking 11. It's probably going to take 12 or 13 at least.
Yeah, that's probably the number. And I honestly think at this point, 10 or 11 for the North. Like, it can't be – the Ravens are already a little behind it, so, like, getting to that number is going to be a challenge. It's almost impossible when you get to 1-3. Then not impossible. It becomes very hard to win 12 games, 11 games. Steelers are so average. They'll win because they're a well-coached team and they'll find a way to win. And the Bengals are 2-1, but they don't have their starting quarterback. They just got run out of the building. And their next 4 games are not easy. And so, like, they could easily find themselves buried down at the bottom of the division here very soon.
Don't forget on Tuesdays, our lunch partner, our friends over at Pearl Tavern in Lee Summit. You can reel in a deal every Tuesday over there. $2.50 fish and shrimp tacos, $5 house margaritas made with premium Jose Cuervo silver, part of the Summit Restaurant Hospitality Group here on Cody and Gold. We appreciate their support of the show as always on Tuesday. Great spot. I know, Cody, you've been there a couple of times as well.
Love
so
it.
we appreciate their support of the show. All right, let's get to it. All 32. Look, I am a Caleb Williams believer. You know I have backed him up. People have been, but hold on. I'm a believer. I've been supportive of him.
Is there a big
There's a big but? Yes, because people have criticized this guy since he was drafted for a variety of reasons, mainly not even football reasons, which is weird, but whatever.
But paints his nails or whatever.
Basically, for I guess that people get triggered by that kind of stuff. Anyway,
ridiculous.
But my point is, so yes, I am a Caleb Williams believer. However, can we pump the brakes on what just happened on Sunday? What he did was impressive, but he also did it against the Dallas Cowboys defense, who are technically not the worst defense in football. That's the Ravens' 32nd, but I actually think the Cowboys are a worse defense when the dust settles. The Cowboys cannot stop anybody. Caleb Williams was 19 of 28, 298, 4 touchdowns, had a 65-yard touchdown pass to your guy, Luther Burden.
Hey.
All right, the third. It was very impressive, but let's see if he can replicate to a certain extent for another week or two. That maybe is a game we look back on and say, that's when it all clicked. Maybe that's what it is. And I'm a believer that it will click eventually, but we also don't need to act like that, like, oh my gosh, he's now just totally good to go. The Cowboys stink.
He unlocked it. Danny Parkins, our former co-worker here at, I guess it was 610, but now 96.5 The Fan. I think the reason why Chicago fans are having a hard time saying is what he said, which is that might be the single best game a quarterback has ever played in a Bears uniform. And when you start looking at it that way, it's really hard not to just get excited about it randomly. But yeah, I absolutely get it. I'm going to head to New York, and I know that normally I would stand with the people that I think, hey, stand behind a winner, and this team is 0-3. Is it weird that the Jets are both 0-3, but I've been pleasantly surprised for the Jets at the job Aaron Glenn has done?
That's not how Jets fans are reacting today.
He's established an identity.
Really?
He seems to have control of what he's doing. He's stuck with Justin Fields.
I agree.
They're in every game. They fight a lot harder than they used to. They're not a pushover. He seems to kind of got that like Dan Campbell energy to him in the sense that like he's going to drive everyone towards him. You don't just flip over a program in a single year. I actually kind of think Aaron Glenn's doing a pretty good job so far. I know he's 0-3, but I kind of like the job. You think Jets fans hate him?
Well, I'm just basing this off of Jets fans, their reaction to some. They think he's too into the moral victory right now, but as you said, it takes time to build this thing back up. So some of them are annoyed by the moral victory aspect. They're still an 0-3 team. However, I'm with you on Aaron Glenn in terms of having control of the organization. Clearly, there's no doubt on who is in charge. He's holding players accountable. Right after week 1, he held a player accountable that made a mistake. They cut a guy, I think it was, on a punt return or kick return, whatever it was. So I think, he's a good fit. But if you're asking how some Jets fans are feeling, they're not happy with a little bit of this moral victory attitude. But you're the Jets.
If they won,
you're the Jets. What do you expect right now?
Maybe they like being miserable more. Like instead of thinking of good things that came out of it, let's just think about all the bad things that happened and that they lost again.
Had
Maybe
they
like
won,
being
they would have had
miserable.
so much more fun with those music edits of him
it
dancing on
was
the
so
sideline.
good. Earth, Wind, and Fire.
Yes.
Because those were fun.
Yeah.
And it's not just because I just think he's established. I don't think the Jets have had an identity in a really long time.
Yeah.
And they at least have an identity. I'm not saying
he's
all of the
resetting the
pieces are in
culture.
place yet, but it feels like they're heading somewhere.
So I'm staying in New York. I'm going to go to the other side of things, though, to the NFC side and the Giants. Nothing to do with Jackson Dart, although he wasn't mentioned to be the starter. But to your point, Cody, which you've mentioned several times on the show before, new quarterback, coach, of course. Brian Daboll probably was going to be gone anyways after this year. Why not just do it now? I'd move on now. Mike Kafka.
Because they didn't do it in the offseason.
But Mike Kafka is the play caller. I think this
I
is
actually
where
would maybe rather have Kafka handle it.
I think you just start to build this relationship already, see if it works out, and if it doesn't, then Mike Kafka's not the guy at the end. But if it does work out, then that relationship is already starting ahead of just next season if they just want to promote him from within. I'd move on from Brian Daboll right now because it's not going to get any better.
So, look, Brian Daboll will not be the head coach after the season. I'm with you, and I think we're all in agreement they should have just cleaned house this past offseason. That's why I don't think it makes sense to fire him now. They'll be like, you didn't fire him in the offseason, now you're going to fire him 3 weeks into the season. You're talking like Mike Kafka. You think he's going to be the next head coach of the Giants.
What? But nothing can, to me. Why would you waste your time with somebody who you know is not going to be the coach again next year?
I agree, but this is also the same
Kafka's
organization that didn't fire him in the offseason.
Sure, but I'm not saying Kafka's the guy, but why not let somebody else try to build up the rapport with the guy at quarterback who's going to be the foreseeable future instead of the guy that's going to get canned in 4 months?
I'll give you a slight stance on a goal that maybe makes you come around on it, which is view it like the way you thought about Alex Zumwalt with Jack Caglione. More than anything, it's not about like finding the guy who might be with him next year. It's not letting Brian Daboll anywhere near him. I don't want Brian Daboll.
We've seen what Daniel Jones does without Brian Daboll.
I don't want Brian Daboll anywhere near that man.
Alex
is part of
Zumwalt
what it is.
was the hitting coach. This hypothetical would involve Matt Quatrero. Alex Zumwalt's the hitting coach. Brian Daboll's the head coach. You guys are wanting him gone 3 weeks in. He should have been gone in the offseason. We're all in agreement here. I don't think he's great at all. But if they didn't fire him 6 months ago in the offseason or 4 months ago in the offseason, they're not firing him 3 weeks into this season when they're now making the transition to a young quarterback. So you're gonna move on to the young quarterback in the same week that you give Jackson Dart the first start. You want to then fire his head coach. Yes. That's also not a smart decision either. No, that's too much. That's too many changes at once for the rookie. You're putting him in a terrible spot.
It's
at
crazy
that point in
because
time.
they've already put him in a bad spot, and maybe he'll just overcome it. Certainly he can.
Brian Daboll will get fired. Don't worry.
Who's calling plays right now for the Giants?
Daboll. He's always called plays, hasn't he?
Kafka was not the play caller.
I thought it was always Brian Daboll who was calling plays. He called him in Buffalo for Sean McDermott. So
all I'm saying is that we've seen what Daniel Jones has done in 3 weeks.
It's just so
without
Here we
Brian
go.
Daboll.
This season, here we go. So last year he was not.
Oh, okay.
Here we go. This is an article from a week and a half ago. This year, Mike Kafka has been
That gives
the
me more
Giants
reason
play
to fire
caller.
Brian Daboll. What is he doing? What is Brian Daboll useful for then? in terms of the relationship.
Well,
with
nobody's
Jackson
disagreeing.
Dart.
He is useless.
We're
not arguing that. It's just
him not calling plays. I think is actually more reason to get rid of him now.
It's just, is it already the worst version of the thing I already said I don't like, which is you get a new coach, you fire him, you give him a new offensive coordinator, new coach, but now I got to make him do it twice. I got to make him do it in the middle of this season and then again in the offseason because the chances they just allow Kafka to keep the job seem low.
Probably very slim.
Honestly, I kind of hope the Chiefs bring back Kafka in some kind of capacity.
I'm with you.
At the end of this season, as much as I don't want the same voices, I liked Kafka's voice before.
All right, let's talk more about the offenses across the National Football League. Does this particular number matter? Is it because of a new rule change? We'll get to that and the random question of the day right here on Cody and Gold.
This is Wyatt Thompson, and you're listening to Cody and Gold, weekdays 10 to 2, right here on your home for K-State Athletics, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Even during rainy weather, I love sitting on the covered screen porch out on my back deck. You could have that or so many other versions of your dream deck at All Weather Decks. They're a 24-time winner of Angie's List Super Service Award. They're locally owned and operated, and they're ready to give you a free estimate at 913-206-1974 or online at allweatherdecks.net. You can see pictures of their projects, maps of the jobs they've done all throughout town right there on their website. So you can start looking for those dream inspirations. Whether it be these, like I see these pictures, these big screen porch with the massive fan, and those make a big difference in the summertime. Or as we get towards fall, maybe you want that fire pit for your backyard that you've been holding off to for years. They can build those dream projects for you at All Weather Decks, no matter the material, no matter the project. Pergolas, patios, wood or composite, fire pits, stone masonry work. They're ready to do all of that work and so much more for you right now. So trust a locally owned and operated company to handle those needs for you. Go to allweatherdecks.net or give them a call, 913-206-1974.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
You don't need to be a financial MVP right out of the gate. At Main Street Credit Union, we're here to coach you through it. No matter where you're at, lining up for your first play or deep in the game, we'll help you move the ball forward. From building credit to launching a business. Because here, it's not just about money, it's about progress and having a team that's got your back. Learn more at mainstreetcu.org.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
Season is here. Get your flu shot today at your local Hy-Vee pharmacy. It's easy, convenient, and no appointment is necessary. Plus, when you get your flu shot at Hy-Vee, earn a 20-cent fuel saver. That's right, a 20-cent fuel saver. Get your flu shot when it's convenient for you. Schedule online or just stop by your Hy-Vee pharmacy. No appointment necessary. Help your family stay healthy. Get your flu shot and get a 20-cent fuel saver only at Hy-Vee. See store for details. Some restrictions apply.
Race weekend returns to Hollywood Casino at Kansas Speedway with over $60,000 in prize giveaways. Friday night, stay cool with the Pin Play app and pick up a 12-pack of Coca-Cola while supplies last. Saturday is the day of winners with a winner every 15 minutes. And on Sunday, win up to $2,500 in Penn bonus play with the Hollywood Casino 400 even or odd drawing. Find your fun at Hollywood Casino. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Getting help is your best bet. Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ksgamblinghelp.com.
Sailor Jerry's Run presents FAC 31. Saturday, October 4th at Cable Dahmer Arena. Witness a full night of MMA action. Stream live worldwide. The main event is champ on champ when Jose Hernandez takes on Ray Hayes. Zach Scroggin will battle along Alfonso Martinez in the co-main event. Tickets for FAC 31 are on sale now through Ticketmaster or the Cable Dahmer Arena box office. Sponsored by Gary Crossley Ford, Healthy Looks Pet Spawn Wellness, Trade Machine Motorsports, Apple Roofing, and Tintmaster.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/royal rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji Antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji Antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
Tulsa is my home now.
Academy Award nominee Sylvester Stallone stars in the Paramount Plus original series, Tulsa King.
This distillery is a very interesting business, and we gotta know the enemy.
From Taylor Sheridan, co-creator of Landman.
What are you saying? I'm all right. If you think you're gonna take me out, it's gonna be really difficult.
Tulsa King, new season now streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You've still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise.
This is the Duke's country song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios.
Now you just have to dance like Aaron Glenn, guys. Just time it up right.
The video is very good. Jets head coach Aaron Glenn. Coming up in 25 minutes, Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider from ESPN, is going to join us. He was in the Meadowlands watching the Chiefs-Giants game. We'll get his perspective, final thoughts on that one, and then start turning our attention a little bit to the rest of the week, what he expects to maybe see differently. Does he think Brashard Smith could play more? What does he make of the offensive line play? And obviously, was he surprised Xavier Worthy did not play? And now what does he think will be the case for this Sunday? Someone on the text line, the Jay's Southland Tow Service text line, 9135-867965, asked the question, did you guys go 5-0? Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
We are quite the roller coaster.
Circa Millions.
People making
Circa
picks.
Millions. We went 5-0. Yes, we were trying to go 5-0.
And 4 were zero sweat.
Yeah.
Easy
Cody,
wins.
Dusty, Speck, Rob, Bink, myself. Yeah, 5 picks. The last one we needed last night was Detroit to cover the 4.5. They won outright, so no sweat really with that. And yeah, we had KC -6. First half was a sweat. After that, it wasn't. We had Carolina getting 5.5 points. They won outright.
They won 30-0.
The only sweat was Pittsburgh.
Oh, yeah, that was a little bit of one.
That was the only sweat.
Other than that, no real problem.
So it's good. It felt good, you know? It makes the 0-5 week really upset me even more from week 1.
Yeah, because if we just gone 3-2 in that week, we'd be like, you know what?
Yeah.
Are we
But that means
competing for the title right now? No. Are we a laughing stock? Also, no.
Someone asking, yeah, the quarterly prize is definitely done. So we have to move on to next quarter. And now season long. You know, now we keep winning so we can get some season long entry. Let's
have another 5-0 week next week.
I haven't seen the update. I was trying to see how many entries went. Did any go 0-15?
How many do you think went 5-0 this week? One of 150 or
probably 300 or 400 people. Oh, here we go. I have our answer. Oh wait, that's Circus Survivor. Hold on. Oh no, here we go. All right. So there's somebody right now that's 14-1 on the year. That's first place. My goodness. There's 2 teams that are 13-2 or 2 entries. 26 entries are tied at 12-3. 93 are 11-4. 259 are 10-5. 571 are 9-6, and then we're with 913 entries at 8-7. 1,100 entries are 7-8. Another 1,100 entries are 6-9. 824 are 5-10. 436 are 4-11. 176 are 3-12. 35 are 2-13, and there are 2 people tied at 1-14 for the last place booby prize. They will be
$25,000 on the line
so
next week for them.
Basically, the 2 that are 1-14 and the 35 that are 2-13, those are the ones that have a shot.
Yeah,
at getting the $25K this quarter.
God, must be nice.
But we're in the wash, but not in the we're still in the top half now.
And we're back to picking winners.
We're in the top half.
You guys are like Kenny Pickett's Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah.
You guys are 9-8.
We're in the top half. You know,
you're Jeff Fisher.
Considering we started 0-5, honestly, the fact that we're in the top half is actually kind of impressive.
One of the few teams to go 5-0. I would be excited for this next.
If you're wondering, their Survivor contest, 3,100 people, 3,154 got eliminated from Survivor this week. That means there's 13,811 entries left in the Circa Survivor contest. Last week, Packers, obviously, Falcons were the 2 biggest. They got eliminated. And for those that were doing that big Grandissimo contest we were talking about when we were out in Vegas, where it was a $100,000 entry, there was 10 people got eliminated this week. 8 from the Packers, 2 had the Falcons, 58 of the original 69, I think.
If you had the Falcons, you just made your own bed. They stunk.
I agree.
You lost
the Packers one, you were thinking you were going to
blocked a kick. You had it.
Wow, 6 people had the Bucs. They almost lost that one off that Jets block field goal too. Anyway, just a little update. Yes, we're happy that we went 5-0.
Makes me feel like I'm not a total idiot in the way that I pick NFL games. Yeah. That first week made me like, we're sports talk radio people.
Yeah.
Are we this bad at it?
Sports betting is difficult, but we're not 0-5 bad. Come on now. Now watch us go 0-5
Someone said you guys are like
week.
the Bengals.
We're not going
early on, you know.
Most weeks you're going to go 3-2 or 2-3. That's just how it works.
Sports Talk on 96.5 The Fan is presented by Paramount Plus. Sylvester Stallone is back in the original hit series Tulsa King. This season, Dwight faces his most dangerous adversaries yet, forcing him to fight for everything he's built and to protect his empire. Watch the new season of Tulsa King, now streaming exclusively on Paramount Plus. New season just started like 2 days ago, I believe. So let's talk a little Chiefs and the offense as it maybe ties into the rest of the league. And I don't know if this is going to make you feel any different about what's going on with the Chiefs, but the NFL offenses right now are averaging 317.9 yards per game. This is from Steve Palazzolo. That's actually the lowest total since 2005, and it's the 3rd lowest total this century. So this is rare stuff that's happening. We're trying to figure out what does it mean. Now, yards per game, not nearly the same category as points per game that everybody focuses on.
But it still matters.
It still matters. To be the 3rd lowest total, that's pretty interesting. We were thinking initially, is this just the kickoff rules? But then we looked up average starting field position, and it's actually not much different than a year ago with the new kickoff rule. So what is this? What do you think? Our offenses, because
we're in a run where defenses have been better. Defenses were better last year.
It's early in the year,
They're better this year.
It's early in the year.
It's early in the year, and I think so there are a couple, right? Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, those teams are still putting up points. the Detroit Lions, those teams are still putting up points. But that middle of the road teams, the Baker Mayfields, even like middle of the road offenses like the Chiefs are right now, some of the quarterbacks you would expect to put up a ton of points are simply not doing that right now. And I think that is a part of it. I think we're just we talk about this all the time, in waves. I think we're going to run in the NFL where defenses are winning. That no matter what we're doing offensively, something is caught up. And the adjustment, I think, 2-3 years ago, the defenses made on the Chiefs, where they just decided, we're going to give up way less big stuff, and we'll make you nickel and dime us to death until we do it, has stuck a little bit. And as a result of it, these offenses still haven't fully figured out how to take advantage of it on a per-game basis or on a consistent basis. And so, that's what I think is actively hurting offenses. But in a weird way, seeing that stat, Gold, made me just realize, okay. And Steve Smith kind of said this at 11 o'clock, too. The thing that is hard to watch about the Chiefs' offense is not that they are the worst offense in the league and the worst offense we've ever seen, and it's abysmal and it's hateful. You know what it is? This is what most teams in the NFL look like. What you're watching in the Chiefs, Gold, is not the worst offense in the NFL. It is an average NFL offense. And that disgusts me in a lot of ways that you all just watch.
You're used to them being
just watch football like this every week, but this is not like the world's worst offense.
No, but we also have watched for years. We know what a championship caliber team looks like, and that's not what they look like as it sits on September 23rd. Can they get there? Sure. It's early. It's week 3 now, week 4 of the season. You're right. This is what most football looks like in the NFL. But for the last 7 years, the Chiefs have been a top 2 or 3 team, if not the best team in football. And so that's how this whole thing plays out each and every year. Right now, they don't. We know what championship caliber football looks like in Kansas City, and we know we're not watching it.
No, even last year in which we knew that things were kind of mediocre. The other part, I don't know. It's just so weird. They're playing about the same as they were for a chunk of the middle of the year where I'm like, average football, below average offense, great defense, but they were winning. If they were 2-1 instead of 1-2, the tenor of this conversation is so much different. And honestly, if they're 2-2 after this week and they beat the Ravens and then they go and they beat the Jags and they're 3-2 and I'm like, you know what? I want them to beat the Lions. It'd be nice if they beat the Lions, but it's not a must win. That's why this game is so different. If they lose to Baltimore, the next 2 games are must-win games before Rashee Rice gets back. They have to beat the Jags, and they have to beat Detroit. And they don't have a choice. They have to win those games in order to, I think, keep the division alive. Maybe not the playoffs. The Chiefs could probably find some way to scratch their way back into a playoff spot. The bottom of the AFC is not exactly loaded at this point, and it's full of some teams that I would think the Chiefs could certainly get by. But in order to still thinking you're winning the AFC West, I don't think you could and the Giants not upset the Chargers. The dream scenario is the Giants just do what the Browns did and shock the world. Somehow they upset them and it's 3-1. And all of a sudden you're 2 games back and you have a game back and you still have a game against the Chargers on the schedule. So you're not any worse or better than you were before. But this, I view this as a positive for the Chiefs. I'm glad offense is down. If your offense isn't going to look very good, I hope it's in a year where no one's offense looks good, I'll be honest. Because at the very least, I know the Chiefs can play defense. They've proven 2 games is enough for me. Plus, I don't know, every other year Spags has coached this defense. Gold, I think some people are still more hesitant than you now. You realize that, right? Because they remember that Chargers game over on Twitch. Micah was pointing out that Isaiah likely might come back this week. And they did a really bad job against him in week 1 last year. Does that concern? I'm like, no, I think the Chiefs know how to play defense. They'll keep the game close-ish. I don't think they're going to run out of the building by the Ravens offense. I think they'll hold them down enough. Now, the Chiefs will have to get in the 20s. They're not beating the Ravens 17-14.
I would be pretty surprised if that was the way this game played out. But yeah, the way the league is playing right now, I mean, there's been surprises across it. What ends up being real as we get a month or 2 in, the Colts, of course, are the story of the NFL so far this year. Them and the Chargers. The Colts are more surprising than even the Chargers, but the Chargers look like a team, if they keep playing like this, that will be a legit contender, believe it or not, for the Super Bowl. I know it sounds crazy, Chargers Super Bowl, but they will be, if they play like this, a contender for that.
I like
if
how
they
you're not
keep
even
it
willing
up.
to put them. Yeah, because they do have to.
Whereas the Colts, they're a surprise and they might win their division. I don't know if they'll get to a point where anybody can take them seriously as a contender because Daniel Jones is still their quarterback. It's the same thing with the Vikings last year. Sam Darnold was awesome for Minnesota. Did anybody think Sam Darnold was taking the Vikings to the Super Bowl? Absolutely not. And what did? They lost right away in the playoffs.
Yep.
And he was abysmal. I could see the same thing happening for Daniel Jones. Great year, but nobody's going to think they can win a Super Bowl. The Chargers, we'll see. Right now, I don't think they're capable with Justin Herbert to win a Super Bowl. But let's see if they continue to play at this level for another month. If the Chargers are somehow start 9-1 or something crazy, if they're 9-1, then you will have to start considering them a legitimate contender for the Super Bowl. I'm not there yet. But to me, out of the 3-0 teams, I know we'll talk about this more tomorrow. Of the 3-0 teams, you can make the case they're the most impressive.
Yeah, I think so far. Based on the consistency.
Obviously, the Eagles comeback would put them out.
3 wins, 3 division wins.
Impressive is different than I'm more impressed with the Chargers because they've got 3 division wins. The Eagles are a better football team than the Chargers right now.
Someone trying to give credit to Drew over in the text line from the 816. Drew said they'd be 3-3. You laughed.
No, he said they'd be 5-5.
He did say 5-5, and I'd like to point out that you said that before Xavier Worthy got hurt. So it is partially true.
I said they'd be
also
3-3 through 6 and 5-5, and then they'd win the rest of the games.
I offered you a bet 5-5, and you refused to take it.
You should have taken that bet. Now you might have been in good shape.
Yeah, of course. You just the same as I should have taken Kansas State's under.
I'm just saying.
Drew's not way off of what they have been. He also thought they'd have Xavier Worthy.
I did think they would have that was pre Xavier Worthy injury.
I would have probably been a lot. My point is not your prediction. Is I'd have been a lot closer to agreeing with you if I knew Xavier Worthy wasn't going to play for the first month. 5-5 wouldn't have seemed so crazy, or 3-3 wouldn't have seemed so crazy.
I think
3-3 is very much in play. I think we all take that.
I think people would take 3-3 right now. I think people would not be disappointed at all.
I'm worried about 2-4.
Yeah.
I'm genuinely worried about that. This is not going to be.
Absolutely.
I don't know what to expect in this game on Saturday. And honestly, I don't feel like I predicted the Chiefs to lose a football game in like 2 years.
They're playing college football?
And it's not, Sunday.
Sorry.
I have not. No, it's fair.
I had to.
I haven't figured out, I don't think I predicted the Chiefs. At no point last year did I predict them to lose a football game. And I was right. 15 of, Well,
they won 15
17
games.
of 20 times. They lost 2 regular season games. I don't know if we made a prediction for the final game. And they lost the Super Bowl, a game I predicted them to win. This might be the first time in what feels like over a year that when we get to Friday and I'm having to predict a winner, there's a pretty good chance I'm going to pick Baltimore. Because I haven't seen Kansas City show enough to make me think that's a team they're beating on Sunday. Not that they can't beat, but that they will beat on
Friday
Sunday.
we'll give our official predictions. We'll see if Cody changes by the time we get to Friday.
I might. Who knows? I'm not committed on a Tuesday.
Nor should you be. All right, let's get to the random question.
Random question.
Random question today brought to you by Kansas City Urology Care at KCUC. Remember, you see the best in KC. Visit kcurology.com today. For you, Gold. For you, Drew. Text line 913-586-7965. Of course, you can hit us up on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook. Love to live stream the show. Have you join us over there as well on a rainy Tuesday. Question I have today is about home design or apartment design.
What?
Doesn't really matter which.
Home design.
I was in a conversation with someone about, just like I want to know the things people put in their homes or their apartments that you don't like. Design either as in this is the way they set up their place or a thing they did. I'll give you my example so you have a chance to think about it. I think it should be against the law to put a TV above a fireplace. I think it looks stupid. It's too high to watch comfortably, and I don't think anyone should do it. I think we should eliminate TVs above the fireplace. It's bad design. It is straight up not. Who wants to watch TV like this? We spent our entire lives not wanting to sit front row of a movie theater. And now we sit in people's living rooms to watch a football game. I got to sit like this, 17 feet above the fireplace. I don't like it.
Someone has it too high. It doesn't have to be that way at all. You can have it above.
I don't like it.
You can have the TV.
Too high.
You can have the TV above the fireplace, and it doesn't. You don't have to have your neck like that.
I think it's always too high.
No,
I think we should get rid of it. I don't think TV should go above the fireplace. From the 913, carpet in the bathroom immediately. Well, litter box in the bathroom immediately.
Yes,
they don't
yes to both of those.
Litter box in the bathroom. You got to put that in an unused room for others. If it's in a bathroom, it's got to be like in a bathroom that isn't like shared by the guests. You put it in You put it in the bathroom that's like attached to your bedroom. Well, whatever. Do your thing, I guess. Someone said hot tub inside the house. That's not a thing, I don't think.
Who's putting hot tubs inside the house?
Just put
Kramer from Seinfeld. That's about it.
Sex swing in the living room, Cody. And someone says you shouldn't have that.
That's an interesting one.
Someone says their 65-inch TV sits on their fireplace mantle. It's perfect. Yeah, I just think the person has theirs too high. There's a different level of. There's plenty of houses I've been to where the fireplace has a TV above it, and you're not cranking your neck up.
I don't think I've seen a single one that I think is appropriate in height.
Someone says they have TV is mounted above the fireplace. They have a TV mount that pulls down to the TV's almost chest high. It's perfect height.
Okay, but here's the point. It's not the perfect height. You had to put in the frame that allows you to lower it to the correct height. That person's actually strengthening my point, not hurting it.
No, but they're saying you're saying you can't watch a TV with your TV mounted above a fireplace. They're saying they can.
This guy also says he doesn't like it mounted above his fireplace. He's bought a mount specifically so he can put the TV at the height he would prefer.
Right. No, but he adjusts it.
Yeah, but my point
People
is,
do it because they like the aesthetics of it.
I don't think it is good for television watching.
I said aesthetic, not for viewing.
Well, but the TV is to watch.
No, but they're saying people like the look in their living room.
No, they prefer yes, I understand that part. I'm saying I don't like it. What don't you like in people's house? You hate certain tables? I don't care what it is. I'm looking for home design.
I don't overanalyze people's houses.
Someone says live, laugh, love signs. Those are also
those, yes.
You got any of those in your house?
No.
Some people might not like 6 different decks with somebody's answer. Poor random question, Cody. All right, well.
Someone says fireplace above the TV. Problem solved.
I don't think that's a thing.
That'd be an exotic look to a house.
Look, I don't have a problem with it, but some people don't like, like you have a lot of jerseys or sports memorabilia. Some people might not like that. I don't really have a problem with it. It's fine with me.
Yeah, I mean, now you're making it sound like I've got nothing but walls covered with Chiefs stuff. That's not true. I have one jersey hanging up in a shelf with some Chiefs
memorabilia. As soon as Gold moved in, he painted his room.
If anything, I've been criticized that I don't have enough on my walls in my apartment. People have said my apartment looks too bland.
You said you don't want to hang too much up because it's an apartment.
Yeah. It's a pain in the ass.
Maybe that's your answer.
I'm the same.
Maybe you're anti-curtain.
Someone says filthy houses. Yeah, that's not a design thing. My thing is dirty apartments and stuff just drive me crazy.
I
define
do think
dirty. You accept a certain amount of kid toys
clutter,
or whatever?
Clutter. Well, if you have kids, okay, and there's toy, we understand. There's an understanding that you're going to have. But
Clutter
in general,
bothers you, okay.
clutter, like just the apartment just look like the dishes in the sink kind of thing. No, clean your stuff up, please.
There is a level of I've tried to get I don't know if my brother and sister have either. I've tried to convince my parents to paint the house something other than just have white paint.
You're trying to put
add some color
Drew
to the
wants
house.
A little color on the walls.
Yeah,
That's his
add some
pickiness.
color to it.
But in your apartment, you can't paint your walls in your apartment. It is whatever.
No, I'm talking about my parents' house. When I go, there's been moments where it's like, you guys could paint the bathroom something other than just the same color as the red. Like it could be a little bit different. Add some texture to the house.
Somebody says they don't like couches that look good but aren't comfortable.
Oh, yeah.
That's a tough spot.
Yeah.
Because, generally speaking, I feel like the nicer looking leather couches fall in that range a lot. They look I like the way the nicer looking leather couches look. Awful to sit on. I like appealing to ooh, that's a nice looking couch.
It looks nice.
They're not very comfortable.
Yeah,
I agree.
Someone says had a family friend who had their TV on the ground. It was neutral naked line.
Someone says they want to do the dishes, but their garbage disposal in their apartment hasn't worked for a week. I get that maintenance request in. Hopefully that should be a fix within 2 days, man.
You gotta get the piece of wire mesh to catch the food and wash them. You gotta make do sometimes,
It shouldn't take a week
You
for
got a
them to get
dishwasher
there.
in yours?
But it shouldn't take them a week in their person for their garbage disposal to be fixed.
That is kind of a long request to go with it. Drew's is white walls. You say you don't.
I mean,
it's not even. It doesn't.
It's clean clutter.
It doesn't bother me to the point of being I guess I don't know if it fits this.
Someone says Cody is house shaming.
Not house shaming. I don't care if I said apartment or house.
No, but they're just saying, yeah.
I also don't like the live, laugh, love signs. I don't want those anywhere in my decor.
Wait, what? Why don't?
Wait, hold on. Wait, did you miss earlier when you said it? You have one of those?
No.
I thought he was about to say he had a couple of those hanging up.
I don't, but
not a 60-year-old white woman. I don't need those in my house.
I mean,
not interested.
Yeah, I don't know, man. What about?
Kind of look like an '80s female musician. I don't know.
He was not talking about a house. He was talking about me. As a matter of fact, if you missed that yesterday. If anybody listened to the show and missed that somehow yesterday, Cody was talking about me.
Little breaking news in Major League Baseball. Jeff Passan reporting. We can talk more about it after the break. Major League Baseball will implement a challenge system for balls and strikes for the 2026 Major League Baseball season.
Beautiful.
After the league's competition committee voted to usher in the era of robot umpiring, he says. Teams will receive 2 challenges to dispute calls by the home plate umpire. Maybe more after the break.
Yeah, I love it. We knew this was going to happen. They tested it during spring training. This was always going to happen once spring training went well. Very excited about this. Yeah, after Nate Taylor joins us, we will we'll talk a little bit more about that change. Up next, Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider, does stop by. We will chat with him about the game in New York over the weekend and where are we at with potential personnel changes. That's next.
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in for the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day, starting at 11:30 right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
It's game on over at Synergen X and Low T Center, the original MVPs of testosterone replacement therapy. Mostly this is just about getting back to yourself. You're sick of feeling tired, the workout hasn't gone the same, your sex drive's not the same. All of these things can be signs of low testosterone. Why not go to Synergen X and Low T Center to get yourself evaluated? The process can take as little as 20 minutes. And after you get those test results back, they can set you up with either in-office visits, or if you'd rather just do it virtually, that's available over there as well with a personalized TRT, as in they'll give you a plan individualized to you, not just some blanket one for any customer who comes in the door, but for the clients who need that free consultation and to figure out where they are. And right now, you can automatically be entered for a chance to win autographed sports memorabilia or tickets to major sporting events by setting up that appointment. And female patients are also eligible to book appointments and get looked at as well. So if you've been not feeling yourself and you're ready, Synergen X and Low T Center are ready to help. Book your appointment today. Visit TRTMVP.com. That's TRTMVP.com.
Around here, we've got each other's backs. When it comes to health insurance, we want that same kind of support. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City gets that. They're from around here too. Backed by the national strength of the Cross and Shield, they help you make confident choices, no matter where you are. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue.
"98 years. That's how long Overhead Door Company of Kansas City has been repairing and replacing garage doors. Locally owned and operated since 1927. Headquartered in Olathe. Always look for the iconic red ribbon of the genuine, the original Overhead Door Company of Kansas City. For same-day repair service 24/7, call Overhead Door Company of Kansas City, 816-221-0072, or schedule online at ohdkc.com.
Trust, price, and ease of transaction. That is GiveMeTheVin.com. We love to buy cars. People don't trust car buyers. People think the price is going to be wrong, and people think it's going to be a hassle. Trust, price, and ease of transaction. That is what we do at GiveMeTheVin.com, and that's what makes us America's best car buyer. Go to GiveMeTheVin.com right now and get a quote on yours.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
This October, the whole family can ride along for the wildest weekend in Kansas City. PBR Outlaw Days, October 3rd through the 5th at T-Mobile Center. Cheer on your Kansas City Outlaws as they battle the world's best on the dirt, under the lights. KansasCityOutlaws.com. Get your tickets now at PBR.com. Kansas City Outlaws. All grit and no quit.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to the end of summer sale at AutoZone. We're celebrating the end of long days and short nights with big deals for a short time, like car wash. Right now, you can save 20% on the Armor All Complete Car Wash Kit. Need new brakes? Duralast brake pads are free with the purchase of Duralast rotors. We've also got oil deals and more. We're ending the summer right with the end of summer sale at AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
At Straight Talk, we get it. You say no a lot.
Mom, can I get a tarantula?
No.
Coffee?
No. So we're giving you more reasons to say yes, like a free 5G phone with real unlimited data with select plan activation.
Can I use the free phone?
Yes. See? Doesn't it feel good to say yes to more?
Absolutely. Face tattoo?
Absolutely not. Available at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Taxes and fees apply. In-store activation of Gold Unlimited plan or higher required. For network management practices, visit straighttalk.com.
What is it that makes the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid an incredible SUV? Is it the spacious interior that's comfy for the whole crew? Or the capability to go off-road? Maybe it's up to 600-plus miles of range. What if it's all of that and more? What is it then? The all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid. So much more than just another SUV. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal.
If you could hear Old Spice Fiji antiperspirant, what would it sound like? First, you'd start with Fiji antiperspirant's amazing scent of palm trees. Add pure notes of fresh coconut and layer on 24/7 odor and sweat protection. You won't hear any dyes or parabens because with Fiji, you won't have any. So while your regular antiperspirant sounds like this, Old Spice Fiji sounds like this. Sounds like it smells amazing.
Inside the Huddle is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Discover the benefit of blue.
What's up, Kansas City? It's Nick Bolton. Tune in on game days to hear the play-by-play with Mitch, Danon, and Clean on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Don't forget our Tuesday lunch partner here on Cody and Gold. Over at Pearl Tavern and Lee Summit, $2.50 fish and shrimp tacos, $5 Harris margaritas with premium Jose Cuervo Silver, all part of the Summit Hospitality Group. Love partnering with them as well. Check out Pearl Tavern. I told you I've eaten there a couple times at Lee Summit. Great spot for lunch, great spot for dinner. Check them out as our Tuesday lunch partner.
1 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you earlier today. JJ Picollo, Royals general manager and an executive vice president of baseball ops, joined us. You'll hear our conversation again with him coming up in about 30 minutes or so. We asked him point blank about the future of Salvador Perez in Kansas City. I think you'll like his answer if you are a Royals fan. Plus, just looking ahead to the offseason a little bit. They aren't mathematically eliminated, but I think there's obviously a realization of what would have to happen. Chaos, pure chaos, and luck is what would have to happen for something to happen in the next couple of days, final week of the season. But let's get back into the NFL and the Kansas City Chiefs. We go out to the Big Apple. Nate Taylor in New York over the weekend, or New Jersey, I guess, specifically. Nate, our Chiefs insider from ESPN. We appreciate it, man. It looked like you had maybe the family out there as well. Are you back, or have you landed yet?
No, gentlemen. I'm still here in the Big Apple, like you said. I'm actually looking at my family right now. We're at the Walt Disney Studios here in Lower Manhattan. So it's a great day. We fly back home later tonight. So it's been a good trip. My kids have done great.
Out of the, how would you rank this win for the Chiefs, knowing it's a bad opponent who just benched their starting quarterback, but they did win by a comfortable margin at the end, but also had maybe one of the worst quarters of offensive football I've seen them play in 5 years. So where do you kind of rank this win for the Chiefs?
It was a must win. I know the guys didn't say that. They didn't want to sort of lean into that storyline, but it was a must win. So, hey, you won. And I think even the better news is, and Andy Reid told us this yesterday, even though Brad Cook had an injury, like they came out without any serious injury. You won the game without feeling like you needed Xavier Worthy to be in the lineup, even if it was on a limited basis or, a small snap count for him. So the defense, I know this is not necessarily, the biggest headline, but the defense has made incremental progress through these 3 weeks. And that's a very good sign considering how young they are especially on the back end, right? You still have Brian Cook, who's your most experienced safety. You have Tamari Connor, who's played really well these last 2 weeks. They actually got turnovers, gentlemen. So, hey, what are you supposed to do against a bad football team? Dominate them. And the Chiefs dominated the Giants basically for 50 of the 60 minutes. And, yeah, we could sprinkle in some of those nonsense, I don't know what's going on with Isaiah Pacheco. I don't think anybody does within the organization. But, hey, you won the game. I know they could have remind me, fellas, they could have potentially scored, as much as 26 points, I guess.
Yeah.
If Harrison Butker had made his extra point and his, whatever it was, 40-yard field goal-ish. But, ultimately, it was a must-win. They got the win. And now they get to have this nice little 3-game home stretch where they could actually say, hey, maybe we're, a team that can get better throughout the course of the season. That's really all that matters now. And so getting a win is what's most important. And thankfully they didn't have any major injuries considering what, the turf at MetLife Stadium is, what its reputation is.
Were you surprised when Xavier Worthy didn't even make the trip and was ruled out? I know we talked last week and most people believed he was going to play. Was this, they're just being really cautious? Was it, I don't think they were in the position to, sit a guy out that could have helped them win if they really wanted to, or am I way off on that? Because the Ravens only have 3 plays, I guess, of Xavier Worthy this season to look at. Maybe that's an advantage going into Sunday.
No, it definitely is an advantage. And, yeah, I got the sense that this was all out of extra precaution, right? Could he have played Sunday against the Giants? Yes. I know he was limited in practice all the last week, and, hell, that might even be the case these upcoming days. But, again, that's all just to sort of protect the player from himself, to give him as much time and as much health rest as he needs. I don't know, because of the shoulder, how much time you need for it to sort of stabilize and find, your strength again, and how are you going to protect yourself going down. I know some of the turf, because we just saw it with Tracy, right? I mean, Tracy dislocated his shoulder, and part of that is because there is less give on that potential turf more than anywhere else in the NFL. So MetLife, you could have added that to the equation. But I think the Chiefs also realized too, hey, we've just got to win and get right with the guys we have right now, and then we can sort of add, Xavier Worthy into the fold. Obviously, Rashee Rice is a couple weeks away as well. He'll be in the meetings, as early as today, right? As early as today in terms of getting the playbook, understanding where the offense is right now based on what, he saw in training camp and in the preseason. So, yes, he could have played. The indication I got even on Saturday, even though he didn't make the trip, was he's fine. So, hey, if you can borrow an extra 7 days, why wouldn't you? And, guys, considering what we just saw last night, if Xavier Worthy gets one little area to blast through and show off his speed, the Ravens are a team that has struggled stopping explosive play. So having Worthy and Tyquan Thornton on the field together should be a nice combination for Patrick Mahomes.
I want to go back to the wide receivers here in just a minute, but you mentioned Harrison Butker. Financially, there's nothing to be done. Is he hurt?
Right, I saw your tweet on it.
Well, financially, there's nothing to be done, but is he hurt? He was terrible. He was not terrible. He was below average, a below average NFL kicker last year. 2 years ago, or 3 years ago, he was a below average NFL kicker. Over the last 5 years on aggregate, he's a below average NFL kicker if we exclude the postseason. But the 2 years he was the worst, he missed 3 games because he was hurt. And now he seems off again this year and he's dropping to a knee. Is he hurt?
This was the biggest concern when he had surgery towards the middle of last season, because even though he did all the right things, I think from a rehab standpoint, obviously he came back and did very well in the postseason. That's one of the best things about Harrison Butker is can you wake him up when it's January and February and he won't miss? But because he had to go on down to a knee, and because he had the knee surgery, he's obviously dealt with, some ankle injuries in the past. It's okay, well, you can clean up your technique, but what's going to happen when it's actually games, when it actually matters, when there's real juice, there's real consequences, whether this kick is a good or not. And we're starting to see that he's basically, went back to his old form. And again, I don't know if that is sort of due to pain. I don't know if he's trying to manage his accuracy, but not have as much power, because I think that's what he tried to do in training camp is, hey, how do I get my accuracy to be even more precise if I have to sacrifice based on me getting older I might have less power in my legs. So I don't know what's going on, fellas.
Something's wrong.
I mean, these are but the last thing I was going to say is these are makeable kicks, especially for him, especially given his reputation. I want to remind everybody he's never been an All-Pro, even though his numbers suggest he should have been an All-Pro. He just lived in the era of Justin Tucker. So Justin Tucker's not in the league right now. Like, you're the highest paid kicker. Like, you should be the guy sort of taking that mantle of, hey, when my team needs 3 points, regardless of the situation, I'm going to make it. That's why it was so confounding for him to do a great job on the, emergency drill. Mm-hmm. Hey, let's get it up right before halftime in Sao Paulo. And then his very next kick, he just blows it wide right. And you're like, wait, what's going on? So his accuracy concerns me because that's what he worked on in training camp. And again, I don't know if he's hurt, but we're starting to see a residual effect of what has occurred over the last 2 years, which is why I think it's noticeable to ask that question, given this team needs every single point right now without Xavier Worthy and without Rashee Rice. He just compounds the issue of the offense. And that's one of the reasons why Travis Kelce kind of went crazy over at Andy Reid in the second quarter. It's because, hey, we just got our first turnover of the year. We're on the plus side of the field. We can't move the ball because, the plays stink. And, oh, by the way, our kicker is struggling right now. He just missed a kick. So what did we just do for the last 7 minutes? I think that's ultimately my interpretation of what Travis Kelce was getting at Andy Reid. And part of that is because, hey, man, we can't even trust this guy, whether he's dealing with an injury or not. This guy's not as reliable as we need him to be, considering how much our offense is sputtering at times.
The sideline blow up, whatever you want to call it, you said it. I think we kind of know maybe what was going on there. I think a lot of people, including myself, were happy to see Andy Reid kind of, push back a little bit. At the same time, I don't think this is like a huge deal. I will only say Travis Kelce having it happen every single week is kind of, at this point, I think people are kind of done with seeing.
Well, he's the only guy, guys. I just want to make this very clear to the audience. He's the only guy that can do that. He's the only guy. And you know what? Andy Reid does not have a lieutenant worthy of doing that. That, I think, is one of the clear differences. Whenever we get to the discussion, and I thought about this Sunday night, whenever we get to the discussions of, like, is it EV? Is it Nagy? Is it Nagy? Or is it Eric Bieniemy? Well, Eric Bieniemy was a guy who was willing to get up in who's grill. And most notably, he would always point out Travis, or he would always point out Patrick, and let that sort of filter down to the players. Well, that's not Matt Nagy's style. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. It's just not. So where can Travis Kelce go to light a fuse to where he thinks, hey, I need to do something psychological? Well, the only guy he can go up to and do that to is Andy Reid. And he's the only player, maybe Patrick, but again, Patrick's more deferential, more reverential to Andy. Because Travis has been there the longest, and because there is no Eric Bieniemy to sort of have a tit-for-tat moment, because believe me, guys, they had several of those, if you remember. He knows, hey, I got to wake this guy up. And I don't know if that was truly necessary at the time, because, again, like, it should have been a 9-0 lead. Hey, Butker misses a kick. It happens. But, hey, you're still moving the ball well. But, again, my interpretation is, hey, this don't feel good. I don't think these play calls are great. How can I get my guys, like, going? Well, hey, I know who's got 51% of the vote. It's the head coach. You know what? I got to do it again. I'll do it again. I'll get up in his face, and maybe I need to wake him up, because it was just 3 weeks earlier where Andy Reid said, hey, I needed to wake my players up. I think partly due to the fact that, oh, no, here we go again with a, freak accident injury between Travis Kelce and Xavier Worthy. So it has been a strange season, fellas. Of course, we all know Patrick Mahomes has led the team in rushing. We all know that they sleptwalked through the first half of Sao Paulo and then had an amazing second half. So, hey, give credit to Andy Reid for getting the offense to get back on track. But also, like, hey, man, this is a must-win game. And for whatever reason, your star tight end is just like, I don't love this. I don't know what we're doing. What are we doing? Like, what's going on? And so now he pushes Andy. And then, of course, they come out in the second half, and they are an actual professional football team that matriculates the ball down the field for 2 touchdown drives. They could have had a third if Patrick hits Taekwon on that nice flare release, on the short yardage play. It's a weird bunch, guys, but they also know, too, when you don't have the explosion, when you don't have the guy that can get you easy yards or break tackles, it's got to come down to, is the coaching right? Is the scheme right? Are the play calls being sequenced in a way that we know we have an advantage? Well, if Travis Kelce don't feel like that, then who is he going to talk to? The only man he can go talk to is Andy Reid.
Let me just ask you about, like, I guess, as it relates to the offense, because I'm going to, for just the purposes of giving them the benefit of the doubt, ignore the 4,000 times they said the same thing last year and just take it for the 3 times they have probably said it this year. Patrick and Andy continue to insist that this offense is close, that there are things that are, and again, I'm just going to ignore that they said that a bunch last year and it wasn't. And instead, I'm going to focus on this year. Do you think there are parts of this offense that are close? That there are things that will work, especially once Worthy and Rice come in? Or is this just them saying that and buying time until we can actually see if it works with all the players in play?
I think it's probably the latter would be my guess. One of the funny things about last year is they were expecting so much out of Hollywood Brown, and then of course he got injured on literally the first snap of the preseason, right? So he didn't come back till December. And so I thought a lot of what they said last year was, hey man, we're not going to have at any point in the season, because of the Rashee Rice knee injury, we're not going to have our 3 wide receivers. Well, that's kind of where the offense was entirely built on. And we kind of promised Travis, hey man, we're not gonna run you into the ground again. Sorry, bud. Hollywood got hurt. Rashee got hurt. Please give us another, lead the team in receptions, lead the team in yards. Hey, stay healthy, obviously, and then come find us in January, and then we'll put it all together. And actually, that is what happened. The offense did really, really well around Christmas because they got Hollywood back, because Kelce had managed himself through the season, and obviously Xavier Worthy grew so much in his rookie year. Well, now part of it is okay, the offensive line, I do see improvement. I saw plenty from Kingsley Suamataia to say, okay, this experiment is going. But now, what do you do with Jawan Taylor? He's the one who's disrupting the offense more than anybody else on the offensive line now. Yeah, there's the one holding penalty from, Josh Simmons, but that's going to happen. He's a rookie. He gets a lot of grace. But he and Kingsley have done really well in terms of run blocking. They did pretty well in the second half when the Chiefs made some adjustments to have a more quicker passing game. I don't know if it's going to reach its full potential because, again, how much longer are you going to give Jawan Taylor? What's going on with his knee, basically, because there were times where he got beat Sunday night, fellas, where I was just like, hey, man, that doesn't look like you. You're a really good pass blocker. Why are you getting overwhelmed basically at the snap of the football? So, again, will we ever see a snap of Hollywood, Xavier, Rashee?
Still waiting.
I don't know. So, I mean, they don't if the Chiefs cannot run the ball successfully against a Baltimore Ravens defense that cannot stop the run, then I don't know. I don't think they're close. What they have is a really good schematic coach in Andy Reid who can sort of find ways and retinker things and adjust things and have, curveballs and, change-ups to the snap counts and everything that way. You have the best quarterback on earth. You still got a really talented tight end who has shown more athleticism. I know he wasn't involved much in Sunday night's game, but, hey, that allows Tyquan Thornton to have the best game of his career, right? So it was a pick your poison, and the Giants said, please let Tyquan Thornton beat us, and he did. So, I mean, I understand their viewpoints, but I'm not sure I completely trust it because there's just so many things that are weak on the offense right now that, boy, a lot would have to change before the trade deadline. And, again, how much are the Chiefs willing to be in the trade market? I don't know, guys, but keep looking at running backs. Keep watching the film because the blocking and the holes are there. It's just the running game and the right tackle play is probably the 2 biggest things that you should be concerned with in terms of whether or not it's actually going to get fixed.
We're talking to Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider from ESPN. That first drive to open the second half was their best drive of the season. It looked completely different, not just because they had success, but they went under center a little bit. They did some misdirection. Brashard Smith was in the game for a couple of the snaps as well. Do you think that they will look at that and we should just some of those elements they will be willing to go back to? Because that was when they were at their best. It was different than what I think they really want to do, but that was when they were at their best.
Yes, and I'm so glad you mentioned it because Patrick realizes now, I think more so than when the season started, and this tells you how much things change in the NFL based on injuries, based on, hey, what we thought we were good at, looked at the film, not true, guys. What they did in the second half was, okay, we have to be a balanced, spread them out offense that is capable of, again, doing a long drive zero down the field. Hey, we'll get you 5-6 yards out of pop. hey, here's an occasional 10-yard play. They now understand, again, even with Xavier Worthy, expected to come back and play against the Ravens, this is not a one-man offense anymore. It's not like, hey, I'm the Minnesota Vikings quarterback, and where the hell's 18? That's where every play starts, right? That's not the Chiefs' offense right now. So you have to use Tyquan Thornton. You have to use Rashard Smith. I really love the idea of them just, hey, Nico Remigio, run some jet sweep motions just to get the safeties and the linebackers to look somewhere, right? And maybe we'll give you the ball, maybe we won't. Hey, we gave him the ball, he got 10 yards. Congratulations. We have used you to your best abilities for this one play that helps us get down the field. And, there's Juju Smith-Schuster on a slant. I don't know what they're going to do with Jalen Royals, but, hey, maybe Jalen Royals can be someone who can work within the intermediate area. You still have Tyquan. You still have Xavier over the top. You're going to have to use more screens. I thought that was a sort of an acknowledgement of weakness. Like, hey, we might need to throw a couple screen passes to Kareem Hunt because you know what? He's actually pretty good when you get him out in space, and he can at least, carry some defenders forward for 1 or 2 yards. They have to be a spread offense. They have to be a balanced attack. The more guys touch the ball, that includes Noah Gray, the more unpredictable they'll be, and the more you trust your quarterback to make the right decisions on a down-to-down basis. He has 1 turnover this year, guys, and it ain't even his fault. So They could run this offense for another, again, 3 or 4 weeks before, hey, if Rashee Rice gets back to his top form, if he's coming off the suspension well, okay, maybe he's the focal point of the offense. But until then, they need to spread it out, trust everybody to do their job, and that will actually hold everybody more accountable because you need to rely on all 11 guys to move the ball down the field, regardless of the opponent.
Last thing from me, Nate. Percentage chance that Jawan Taylor is not the starting right tackle come Sunday? I mean, I'm saying Sunday. Let's just say this Sunday and then halfway through the season. Because at some point, for a team that claims accountability, I don't know how the most penalized player in the NFL who is actively costing you drives can continue to start at right tackle.
And not only is he the most penalized offensive lineman, I know people were making fun that NBC has a graphic for him.
Oh, I know, man. They had it ready to go. He's also not.
I said, my God.
For what it's worth, Nate, he's not blocking well either. It's not even like the previous where he was playing well.
Yeah, that's my point. He did not. Sunday was a bad game for him, blocking wise, regardless of the penalties. And so, again, he had his knee scoped. He had a little procedure. They always call them minor. They're not minor kids. He had a procedure in the offseason. He had to get his knee drained. But last year was a different circumstance because they had no one else. It was like, hey, can Wanye do it? Well, I'm sorry, Wanye's playing left tackle now because Kingsley can't play left tackle. You paid this guy in free agency. I still think Andy, I know people don't want to hear this, I still think Andy wants to see one more game. I always say, guys, and you know this, give me 4 weeks. I know it's so hard. Give me 4 weeks of a season. 4 weeks is a decent enough sample size before you might actually want to start making changes, or what teams do, post a bye week when it's like, okay, we have 6 or 7 games on tape. We actually know for sure now, based on the 6 and 7 opponents we've seen, we not good at this. So, hey, the Ravens didn't get a sack last night, fellas. Didn't get a sack. Didn't sack Jared Goff, who cannot move. So, I know fans are like, I want to see Jalen more. I think Andy probably gives them another week, or it might be a situation like what teams do with the quarterback often is, hey, give us the bye week. I know that's a little farther away than now, but they paid a lot of money for Jalen Moore. I know, but if they made the change, I would be surprised because I just know traditionally how Andy has sort of operated with these things.
But I've watched him, Nate. Like we were talking about LaShawn McCoy earlier with fumbling problems. Like I've watched him put players on the bench eventually who are actively costing them games. I'm not sure why Jawan has been more immune to it than others. And again, last year, to your point, what choice did they have, right? There was
no choice.
There was no option but to stick with Jawan Taylor. So he got way more than a normal amount of games, I would say, for a guy struggling as much as he was. This year, it's like you invested in it. I think Simmons, especially in isolation, has been excellent. I think Kingsley's been better than I was anticipating. So, Jawan's the odd man out. That's all.
Yeah. Kingsley has the tools, and we are now realizing that. It's just something that Trey Smith went through in his first year. Obviously Trey Smith was an All-American, but you have the tools, you have the athleticism. Now it's about technique. consistency on a down-and-out basis as you get more defensive fronts, as you see more defensive linemen, right? Josh Simmons, you couldn't have asked for a better starter from a rookie left tackle coming off a knee injury, right? That ended his college career, so he's played excellent. Here we go with Jawan. Okay, Jawan, well, when you do start on time, or when the refs let you get one or two, you're pretty good at just, stabilizing the right side. That allows Mahomes to scramble, maneuver within the pocket, maybe extend plays. Well, there were plays where he couldn't get to his drop on Sunday because Jawan got beat faster than we've really ever seen him in a Chiefs uniform. So, again, I don't know if that's injury-related. I don't know if that's to deal with the same knee injury he had last year, or if it's just one bad performance on top of, penalties that this offense cannot overcome. The issue I have is he is a veteran. He's done it before. Yeah. It's just 3 games. I just want to remind people, it's just 3 games. And what decision you make in terms of moving him away doesn't necessarily mean you're going to go back to that player in, November. So if you make this change, you're making it for the rest of the season. And I think that's something that people have to understand. It's like the coaching staff knows what it looks like at practice. They watch the practice. They watch the film. Jalen Moore, as I like to remind people, has never played right tackle in the NFL on a regular basis. He always was the backup left tackle to Trent Williams. So that would be a new sort of role, a new situation for him, even though we all know he's talented and capable and got all of the training camp and preseason reps he could in case of such a scenario. But if you make this change now, it's not like you can go back to Jawan Taylor and say, oh, by the way, we're playing the Bills now. You ready to get back in there? I don't know if that's a decision that they can make to where you want to be flip-floppy or you want to be sort of even more inconsistent when an offensive line needs to gel over the course of the season.
Nate, safe travels back, man, from the Big Apple. We'll see you in studio next week. I'll see you out on Arrowhead on Sunday.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it, guys.
There you go. Good stuff from Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider from ESPN. I'm with everybody. I'm with all of you on the Jawan Taylor thing. I do think the last part he mentioned is also something we do have to consider, which is we're all just assuming Jalen Moore is going to be good at right tackle.
To find out.
I understand, but to Nate's point, if you bench Jawan Taylor, it's not just a one-game thing. It becomes, no, that's the guy we think is good enough for the rest of the year. And that's also part of the equation here is rough as it's been for Jawan Taylor, are they 100% convinced Jalen Moore is better at right tackle right now? By the way, I hope he is for this year, but also because next year, Jalen Moore is going to be the right tackle for this football team. So we'll see. It's funny. The month thing is kind of what we had talked about as well.
It just felt like he's played himself. He didn't deserve the 4th week.
I think there's
I get your point.
5% chance it's not Jawan Taylor at right tackle on
The
Sunday.
Scary thing, though, is that if Jalen Moore also is not very good, did they need to draft a tackle again in the first round?
That would be the reality if that was the case, for sure. All right, up next, earlier today, the general manager of the Kansas City Royals, J.J. Picollo, joined us. We asked him point blank about Salvador Perez's future in Kansas City. You want to hear what he had to say? Next.
This is Cody and Gold. Tune in for Nate Taylor every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Cody and Gold are brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Fall's the best time of year to clean up the outside of your home or business, and the best way to do that is with a fresh coat of paint from my friends at CertaPro Painters. You want your home or business to make a great impression, and that starts with the exterior. And when you choose CertaPro Painters, you're choosing the best in the business for your job. CertaPro Painters go the extra mile. If there's a way to save you money, they'll let you know, and they take care of every detail from start to cleanup. So do what we did and schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated.
I'm Mitch Holtis, voice of the Chiefs. Everyone develops cataracts naturally as they get older. When your vision is affected by cataracts, you should see my doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein at Silverstein Eye Centers. Dr. Silverstein is a world-renowned cataract surgeon who performs life-changing laser-assisted cataract surgery with premium lens implants to correct your vision up close and far away. Trust my eye doctor, Dr. Steven Silverstein, Silverstein Eye Centers, 816-358-3600 to schedule an appointment.
As we get older, we don't heal as quickly as we used to. And if you're suffering from joint pain, you probably think, hey, a good night's sleep will make it better. But then you wake up and the pain is still there. Stop letting that pain dictate your life and your day and start living again pain-free. It's time to see my friends at QC Kinetics. They use regenerative medicine, advanced cellular treatments that help your body heal and restore the damage in your joints, not cover it up, actually help heal and restore. And the results are long-term lasting relief. QC Kinetics uses no surgery, no drugs, no long-term recovery. Just a smarter, natural way to get your freedom back. So grab your MRIs and your x-rays and get in touch with my friends over at QC Kinetics. They'll make sure you're a good candidate and your first consultation is free. So call now, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. Off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone. Appointments on Saturday with QC Kinetics.
Sailor Jerry's Run presents FAC 31. Saturday, October 4th at Cable Dahmer Arena. Witness a full night of MMA action. Stream live worldwide. The main event is champ on champ when Jose Hernandez takes on Ray Hayes. Zach Scroggin will battle Alonzo Martinez in the co-main event. Tickets for FAC 31 are on sale now through Ticketmaster or the Cable Dahmer Arena box office. Sponsored by Gary Crossley Ford, Healthy Looks PetSpawn Wellness, Dream Machine Motorsports, Apple Roofing, and Tintmaster.
Hey, almost Andy Reid here. It's been an honor to give back to the community that's embraced me being almost your head coach. Thanks for letting me be part of your team. Renner Garage Door is a teammate of mine that also values the community that they served for decades, always giving back and delivering wins with top brands like Geldon, Amar, and LiftMaster. Need a repair or replacement? Get a free estimate today. Forward and back.
RENNER.
Your cold is coming. Your cold is coming. When you feel a cold coming, shorten it with Zicam, the #1 cold shortening brand.
Oh no, not before my big trip.
The big trip you've been planning is coming up, and so is your cold. But Zicam can shorten your cold and get you back to planning sooner.
Thanks, Revere.
We really should keep Zicam in the house.
Shorten your cold with Zicam.
Take it from America's most revered messenger. Shorten your cold at the first sign with cold shortening products from Zicam, the #1 cold shortening brand. Available in stores or see where to buy at Zicam.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance supervisor at a manufacturing facility, he knows keeping the line up and running is a top priority. That's why he chooses Grainger. Because when a drive belt gets damaged, Grainger makes it easy to find the exact specs for the replacement product he needs. And next day delivery helps ensure he'll have everything in place and running like clockwork. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Thank you for making Total Wine & More America's #1 online source for spirits, beer, and wine. Better than all those delivery apps. Total Wine's prices are up to 30% lower with super fast delivery and no hidden fees. Order direct at TotalWine.com and pay less today.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Hey, want to hear something great? Right now at Wendy's, you can get 2 of the #1 selling bacon cheeseburger in all fast food, the JBC, plus medium fries and a medium soft drink for just $8. Want to hear something else great? Double the burger means double the bacon. Now that's a game changer. 2 of the #1 bacon cheeseburgers with fries and a drink for just $8. Gotta be Wendy's.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Request $8 JBC meal deal to obtain discount. Individual items at regular price.
Thank you for making Total Wine & More America's #1 online source for spirits, beer, and wine. Better than all those delivery apps. Total Wine's prices are up to 30% lower with super fast delivery and no hidden fees. Order direct at TotalWine.com and pay less today.
Drink responsibly, B21.
Sports brought to you by the Salvation Army and registertoring.com.
Make it a tradition. Grab your friends or family and ring bells together for the Salvation Army. Just 2 hours can change lives this holiday season. Sign up today at registertoring.com. That's registertoring.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the Mission Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling Studios. What's trending?
#1 on What's Trending, the Royals begin a series out west tonight against the Angels. An 8:38 first pitch here on 96.5 The Fan. Vern's on Deck show at 7:30. Cole Reagans makes his second start since returning from the IL. Elsewhere in the division, a big series starts tonight with the Guardians and the Tigers. Remember, the Tigers have collapsed here. They've won 1 out of their last 10. Meanwhile, the Guardians have won, I believe, 9 of their last 10. Therefore, it's a 1-game lead now after all that for the Tigers. If the Guardians win tonight, they will be tied, and I think they might have the tiebreaker temporarily over the Tigers for the division lead. Crazy.
They had a 10-game lead 2 weeks ago. Certainly would be a massive collapse. The kind, I guess, that Royals fans were hoping they would be on the other end of. Just very rarely happens, that's all. Next up on What's Trending, speaking of Major League Baseball, automatic balls and strikes is coming to Major League Baseball in 2026. It will work nearly identical to the challenge system in minor league baseball. Each team will receive 2 challenges per game, of which they can maintain them or retain them, if they get those calls or challenges correct. As an example, Jeff Passan put out more than, according to the automatic balls and strike system, more than 1,000 balls and strikes are called wrong every week. Now look, that means they get a lot right, but 1,000 calls are wrong every week. It'll certainly be more than in play. As this would go running, he actually pointed out a game last night where somebody missed 25 calls in a single game at umpire.
That's crazy.
So automatic balls and strikes coming. Obviously, big fan. Not going to complain about it at all. Sweet.
Yeah,
Thank
I think
you.
It adds more. It adds some more drama too, because there's going to be situations where you're going to complain that a player didn't use it or did use it or whatever. Like there's just more intrigue and strategy involved in it. How is each team going to handle it? I love it. I absolutely love it. All right, elsewhere on What's Trending, some NFL news today. Jackson Dart will make his NFL debut Sunday when the Giants take on the LA Chargers. Russell Wilson, of course, has been benched. Also, the Houston Texans have released veteran corner C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Reports are out of Houston that among the issues the Texans experienced behind the scenes with C.J. Gardner-Johnson, he was critical of teammates in the secondary, did not like his role, locker room issue. It just wasn't a good fit for the team and for Gardner-Johnson. So just a couple moves in the NFL today. One final thing on what's trending.
Busy day.
Mike Evans out 2 to 3 weeks with a hamstring injury. Also, the Falcons fired their wide receiver coach, Ike Hilliard. They're moving their OC from the booth to the sideline. These are all like the steps in eventually just firing a bunch of people. But like, oh, we're just going to now move. That's the issue. He needs to be on the field talking to Michael Penix instead of up in the booth. It's kind of like the normal progression of everything as well.
Still surprising.
That's what's trending here on Cody in Gold. Earlier today, the general manager of the Kansas City Royals, JJ Picollo, joined us. We had a bunch of topics to get into with him, including looking ahead to the future, but also while their ultimate goal of making the postseason and division and all that's a different story, still going back-to-back winning seasons is in play, and it would be the first time in 10 years.
It would be huge for us. I mean, that's one of our goals is sustainability, and part of being sustainable and a good team is having winning records year after year. So we're looking at these 6 games like they're big games for us. And of course, we're not completely eliminated just yet. You know, we got to win 6 in a row, and a couple teams got to lose 6 in a row. So it's a tall order, but all we can control is what we do here on out. So these next 6 games are very important to us.
Have you been happy
to establish some history?
I was about to say, have you been happy to see some of the fight? Because like it was easy enough. You go through the losing streak. It seems like it kind of plays you out of the playoffs. You know you can sense that, but they fought back to 500 and to stay above 500 or around there. Do you like seeing that out of a team, even knowing that the playoffs were a long shot?
Without a doubt. We had a couple games last week, and I thought we could have easily shut it down and not competed. But, one game we're up 3-0 against Seattle, and we end up winning the game late. That was a good game. Even the game we lost on Sunday, I thought we competed really well. We didn't score more runs than the other team, but that was a good baseball game, and that's what we want to do. That's what we want to establish as an organization. But, yeah, we're proud of the way they're competing, and we expect them to go out these next 6 games and do the very same thing.
Just briefly speaking of other playoff teams, because you're the general manager of another team, I'm guessing you're not allowed to text Freddie for me and congrats on helping send the Padres to the playoffs. Did you get a chance to see that moment last night?
I did see it. I was watching the game when it happened. Couldn't be happier for Freddie. He's a Royal through and through. I know he's in a different uniform right now, but happy for Freddie. He's going to get a chance to experience the playoffs for a 2nd year in a row, and wish him nothing but the best.
We're talking to JJ Picollo here on 96.5 The Fan. Last week, Cole Reagan's return to the rotation. He'll also start tonight. What did you make of that first start back? And are there any sort of limitations still, tonight in terms of workload for him?
We'll still be careful with him. He's probably going to throw a few more pitches tonight than he did the other night. But, you can't help but to think, especially that first inning, like what could have been had Cole been healthy all year. That's a natural thought. But it was a good sign of what our pitching staff is like and what it could be. And, Cole, with the year he had last year, what he was doing this year until the injury, it was a big part of who we are, and going back to one of your first questions there about how we've competed extremely well without, one of our top starters and one of the top pitchers in baseball. So seeing him out there last week was a great moment for him. Mentally, the perseverance players go through when they're injured is difficult. So I know it was a big relief for Cole to get out there and throw the ball the way he did and dominate, really, that first inning, as well as you possibly could. I think it was 9 swings and misses in an inning. You don't see that. So that's how good Cole really is.
When it comes to, I want to ask you about Cags, too, obviously, as he's had his second run here as a big leaguer post the injury. Carter Jensen, obviously everything he was doing in the minors, he's doing now in the bigs. He's hitting for average. He's showing some power. His on-base percentage has been excellent. Is he the kind of guy, just for looking into the future, you've tinkered with him at the top of the order. Because of his on-base percentage, is he going to be tempting to be a top of the order guy for you next year?
Well, I think we got to let that play out. And the circumstance the other day was, Isbell's hurt. Yaz had played a bunch of games in a row, and we're looking at, we wanted a left-handed hitter at the top of the lineup. Carter's not hit leadoff in the minor leagues, but for where we are in the season, trying to get him some at-bats, it's like, hey, why not? He's taking great at-bats. The quality that Carter has, or the talent that he has and the skill that he has is pitch recognition. He makes good swing decisions. He's going to walk. I think one of aside from the hits, the best thing we're seeing right now is he's not changing his approach in the major leagues. He's making pitchers work to get him out. It's a very good sign of a quality hitter. And Carter obviously has the power, too. You don't see a guy go foul pole to foul pole and hit 2 homers in a game all that often. It's Kauffman Stadium. And then you look at the game where he hits 3 doubles all through the left center field gap with another ball against the wall. Like that is the sign of a really good approach and somebody that's going to be a quality major league hitter.
These things are obviously related. How close are you guys to picking up the option for Salvador Perez? And is that a conversation you've already had with him this offseason, knowing that $13.5 million is on your side?
Well, I think it's safe to say that Salvi's going to be back in a Kansas City Royals uniform. We haven't had discussions about when we'll pick up the option or what we're going to do. There are things that we're going to, through this week, have discussions with Salvi. His desires, obviously, is to be here and be a Royal the rest of his career. But there are things we'll figure out through the offseason. But I think it's safe to say that Salvi is going to be in Kansas City next year.
Obviously, you do have the offseason to figure some things out. Do you right now, when you look at how maybe you approach even just the catcher position, knowing we already talked about Freddie no longer being part of the organization, now seeing how Carter Jensen is being used, we know Salvi wants to be behind the dish. How much does that also go into some of the thought process as you look ahead to the offseason?
Well, there's ongoing conversations with Salvi. I mean, it's happened the last several years about his workload and how much he can catch. Now, when we traded Freddie, we had to up his workload. That wasn't part of the plan. He caught far more games after we traded Freddie than prior to trading Freddie. But now that we have Carter and he's gotten some experience behind the plate in the major leagues, probably looking at a very similar situation as we had with Freddie, and now we'll just substitute Carter for him.
Would your thought be going into the offseason that Jack Caglione would be, our plan is starting right field 2025? That's where you're trying to pencil him in?
I'm sorry, say that again?
Is your plan to make sure that, to spend the offseason making sure that Jack Caglione is your starting right fielder?
Well, we'll do everything we can. I mean, players got to go out and earn those opportunities, but we expect that Jack's going to be a big part of what we do in 2026. You think about what he's done this year to come from, AA to AAA to the big leagues, and he had the injury. That's an awful lot. And then throw in a position change for him. Just proud of the way he's continued to compete. We know that the season didn't go exactly the way we wanted it to go in the major leagues, but he's a young major league player, and we're going to be patient with him. He's going to have to earn a spot on the team opening day next year. But we know that he's a talented guy, and he's going to figure this thing out. It's just a matter of when.
Last two players I'm going to ask about, because you guys have obviously made a lot of trades for pitchers, so you'll have a lot of decisions and maneuvering there. But every offseason, I got to ask, what's the likelihood that you guys will try to work on extensions for guys like Maikel Garcia and Vinny Pasquantino this year?
Yeah, there are things to be determined as well. I mean, it's always an ongoing process for us. What's best for the organization? How do we manage our payroll? Who are the guys that we know we need that are everyday players? The two you just mentioned are obviously very valuable. I think, probably 65 to 70% of our offense came from those two, and Bobby and Salvi. They were the key contributors, so they're important to us and what our success is going to look like next year. But they are under contract, so there's things that we need to work through. We know they'll be in our uniform. It's just a matter of whether or not we choose to work an extension or if they even want an extension. So you got to work through those things in the coming months.
That was JJ Picollo, Royals general manager, with us earlier today. He joins us every couple weeks throughout the baseball season. We appreciate coming on the show. Let's start with the back end of the interview there, the last question and last conversation. You and I have discussed the future contract path for, if you will, for Vinny and for Maikel. I think you can make a case on either end of it. I've said, if I were the Royals, it's not my money, but if I were the Royals, there's a strong argument of, well, Vinny's 27. I got control for another 3 or so years. Why would I do an extension at this point, other than the fact that, one, he's been a very good player for you. He's a fan favorite, and it's
guaranteed money
and all of that.
Doesn't
right?
matter if you get injured. Doesn't matter if you get hurt. It's a check.
Oh, for the player. I'm talking about for the organization. I know why Vinny would want it. Vinny's 27. Maikel's 25. Between the two, it's weird. Like, Maikel Garcia's coming off a career year. If you're him at one point, if you think this is what you are, then
you should wait.
You should wait. If you're how much, if there is the risk there. If I'm the Royals, there's more value in getting a deal done with Maikel Garcia this offseason than Vinny Pasquantino. And that's not a knock at Vinny at all. It's just the reality of the age and the way the baseball system works with arbitration and everything. The cost-saving measure for the Royals would be more on the get the Maikel Garcia deal done if you think this is who he's going to be. That's going to save you money. Vinny, I don't know if you're really saving money by getting a deal done with Vinny, because the buying out arbitration when he's 31, 32, 33, what kind of player is he when he's 32 or 33 years old? I don't know.
take the chance mostly because here's why I would do Vinny first. Not that I think he's a more valuable player necessarily, or that I wouldn't be interested in both. Truth is, I'd be interested in both. The reason why I do Vinny first is that's the kind of person that is an easy lifer for a Royal, in the sense that the Royals spend a lot of time and effort and energy and draft capital and free agent money over the years trying to find a 3,000 guy. They do it all the time. Nothing but in constant search of this exact professional, middle-of-the-order hitter who is going to be under contract with you for at least 4 years anyway. Why not add 2 more years, lock up until his early 30s? I'm not saying lock up Vinny till he's 40. I don't know what kind of hitter he'll be then. That's a misnomer. Most Major League players' careers peak is like 27 to 31 if you're just a really good hitter. So I'll risk the back 2 years, lock him up for a Royal for not life, but essentially a huge bulk of his
He turns 28
career.
in October, in fairness, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, nobody's worried about that now.
This is the stupidest thing about baseball.
I know.
Poor
he doesn't
Vinny.
even have a chance to.
He can't even hit for.
It's
If they
crazy.
just made him write it out, he wouldn't even get paid until. That's part of the appeal. If I were Vinny, I'll be honest, that's part of the reason I take the check.
Oh, I'm not arguing on the player side. It's a no-brainer.
But like on Maikel's side, I could understand why he'd wait a year. Like he might not just take the extension. But Vinny's side, I'd take the check if they'd give me 2 more.
Yeah, and that's why it's an interesting convo, because I think from the Royals' point of view, I would actually, I get your argument. I would feel less urgency to get something done with Vinny.
Yeah.
For Maikel, if you think this is kind of what he's going to be, there's a reason it actually would benefit you quite a bit in the future to already have a deal done. If you're the player, though, if you're Maikel and you believe this is who you are, then you're benefiting waiting. And if you're Vinny, your benefit is to sign this offseason,
and some of this
given
is
your
like
age,
family and history and everything else.
Course.
I don't know the family background of Vinny or Maikel.
Yeah.
Like maybe this would set up Maikel's family for the rest of his life. Maybe it would set up Vinny's family. Either way, it probably would, but you get the point. I don't know the family circumstances surrounding it and the need for it.
Yeah.
But it's just like, if I were the Royals, it's mostly just about, I'm not trying to replace the kind of hitter Vinny is.
But they wouldn't have to do that for 4 years. That is a while.
That's a good point. I'm not.
There's also the CBA issue. We've talked about that in 2027.
You're lose a whole year. You're likely to lose a whole year of these players. The other part for me is, And again, you don't have to do it. Michael and Vinny and all these guys, I'm not trading him. They're too cost controlled and all this other stuff. They're not the players I'm taking calls on in the offseason.
I agree.
Because I'm keeping them around Vinny. I'm keeping Carter Jensen, Caglione, Vinny Pasquantino, Michael Garcia, and Bobby Wood Jr. together for the next at least 3 years. That's how long I got Michael. I got that whole group of 5 people under contract for the next 3 years. I love that.
No, that is a great spot to be in. I just think it's, Bobby Wood Jr., you needed to get a deal done because his value was only going to increase, and it did. Yeah. And so that deal looks great. Yeah. I don't think there's the urgency, at least
there's not as big of a jump on the other 2 guys.
For Michael or Vinny, if I'm the team to get it done. There might be some reasons you would like, and certainly if you're the player. If I'm JJ Picollo heading into the offseason, I don't feel like I have to get a deal done with either of them.
Of the 2, I would argue that Michael's is more likely to take a jump, only because the way the contracts typically work, Vinny plays first base or DH, so there's like a fixed number, and he's not a 70 home run hitter, right? He's not Aaron Judge or a 60 home run hitter. He's a very, very, very good player, but because of the limitations on that, I don't think his number is going to change dramatically. Michael's interesting. For a guy who plays infield, puts his feet in the dirt, those guys hold more value, and he took a huge leap forward if there's any other kind of leap or that continuation, and because he's going to be up for a Gold Glove at third base this year. I don't know.
He doesn't even turn 26 till July. Till March. Sorry, so right before the start of the season,
which makes him even more like. In fairness, now I'm talking to myself, but like because of how young he is, Gold. If you locked down 3 more years at the end of his, he'd still be in his early 30s by the time. You wouldn't even like. He would not be 32, 33. He'd be more like 29 or 30.
Free agent in 2030. Yeah. Right now, he's a free agent in 2030.
Yeah, but I mean, if you said to 2032, all you're talking about is a guy who is now 31 years old. It's like, okay, maybe talk myself into that. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to get into those.
There's pros and cons to both. I just for the player arbitration and the model we have is what we have. There's also a reason why, as a baseball club, you just ride this thing out.
Yeah. It just depends on, this always comes down to, too. There's teams who have done this and it's worked out because they've correctly identified the right players to pay early. And there's teams like the White Sox who paid all their players early, and I bet wish they didn't pay any of them. Bet they wish they hadn't signed a single one to a single contract, because we could be having these same conversations. Teams have paid guys like Jack Caglione and Carter Jensen this offseason, too. I'm not saying they have to. I'm just saying there's teams who have paid guys like that.
Was it Roman Anthony that already signed a new deal or somebody else? I can't remember who it was. There's a couple. Basallo, the Orioles kid, just got called up. He already has a new deal, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. Both of those guys. Yeah. So, we're talking about Michael and Vinny. There's actually technically, they have to have the conversations about whether or not they just want to buy up all the cheap years of Caglione and Carter Jensen, too, like other organizations do.
Yeah.
There's a huge appeal of locking up your entire core. But it is a massive risk. You could do it like the White Sox right now, and you could sign Vinny and Michael, and you could sign those other 2 guys, and you could just lock up 5 to 6 players.
I'll play out a full year of
I would too.
Jensen and Gags before I worry about that.
I would too. I'm just saying,
I'm not doing that.
Teams have done that, is all
for
I'm
sure.
saying. I'm not saying you have to.
Yeah.
I'm just saying teams have done that.